Zurich Airport calling for Racing Unleashed Season 2023 Beyond the Pinnacle. Today we race at Mugello Circuit, the home turf of Ferrari. Ladies and gentlemen, start your simulators. Get ready for racing.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. It's a good start from Rock already. They make contact. And look at this, look at this. The Rock has tamed the bull.
This is Racing Unleashed.
And a very good morning to you. Welcome to Racing Unleashed here in our live interactive studio. I'm your host Matthew Duffin and we'll be bringing you the action of the Racer League today. An action-packed show brought for you here today. The trophies to the far side of the table there. You see the smaller one, that is what the Challenger League drivers was fighting for last night. And the bigger one, even further away, that is what the drivers are driving for this season today. And Alejandro Sanchez, the man who leads that way in terms of getting that trophy and the prize money. At the moment, what a championship it has been so far after the first two rounds at Silverstone and the Red Bull Ring. We're here at Mugello, the home of Ferrari, for today's race. And the cars that the drivers will be taking around this circuit is the Racing Unleashed RU23, the absolute beast of a car that we have right here to my right. Gorgeous design and working on the push to pass to make it even better, as we saw last night. Very effective down the start straight. The RU23 that the Racer League drivers will be challenging themselves in today for this third race of the season here at Mugello. We've got an action-packed show in store for you today, ladies and gentlemen. We've got gear-up session, knockout qualifying and the race coming up, as well as rush hour in the middle of the programme, where we'll be joined by Fabio Vettinger and a very special guest who we'll get to in a few moments' time. Let's take a look at yesterday's race then at the Mugello Challenger League. The results. Final classification. We knew the podium was final with Agustin Torlacci, Marcus Valverde and Nico Farlan taking the top steps on the podium. Here, though, is the rest of the classification. Agustin Torlacci, Valverde and Farlan, the top three. Adrian Gomez, P4, with Yannick Pletcher finishing 5th. Antonio Rivoli, 6th place, with Mohamed Ramsey dropping down to 7th. Rock Merzel, P8. Borges Arzo was 9th before Robin Doney in P10. Thomas Herzog rounded out the top 11 with a penalty to his name. Joshua Hader, Gianluca Palmisano 12th and 13th. Andreas Koch in 14th place. Walter Troninger 15th. With Lorenzo Hader 16th place. Fabio Schlegel down 17th with a penalty. Unai Marotto, Mario Stanek. And then rounding out the bottom of the pack with a penalty to his name as well. So we saw not too many penalties there, meaning that drivers missed a couple of chances of penalty points, some for Thomas Herzog and some for Stanek as well, who will be looking at what they can do. Here, though, is the current championship classifications, and it is Yannick Pletcher who still leads the way by 11 points from Nico Farlan, but he has closed that gap. Agustin Torlacci, 3rd place, with Adrian Gomez in 4th. Rock Merzel drops down to P5. Marcus Valverde climbs up to 6th in the standings. Borges Arzo yet to get going in this season, P7. Joshua Hader 8th, with Lorenzo Hader 9th, and Antonio Rivoli rounding out the top 10. Walter Troninger on 6th, with Gianluca Palmisano and Mohamed Ramsey all tied for 11th place. Besnik Matezi in 14th on 2 with Tyler Klausch. Fabio Schlegel and Robin Doney rounding out the top 17 with drivers on points. Thomas Herzog, Andreas Koch and fellow competitors yet to score this season. So we're here, we're live at Mugello in our interactive studio. It's still as beautiful as ever. We still can't get over how nice this is. And it's the home of Ferrari for today's race, for today's challenge, if you will. It's the track that's twisty, tight, up and down. It's a fast-flowing circuit, and the drivers have got a lot to look out for in today's race. We saw a lot of drivers yesterday make their own mistakes, just pushing too hard through a few of the corners and making their own mistakes that led to them spinning off and losing a few places, both in knockout and in the race itself. Will anybody dominate the knockout qualifying session like Mohamed Ramsey did yesterday? That's the biggest question. He had an 11-second gap, or 13, I think it was actually, by the end of the knockout session. Can anybody replicate that today? We have two drivers who have a knockout ban. We'll get to that a little later on. There is no Dominic Dedic today. He's under the weather, so we wish him a speedy recovery and hope he's back for Imola in 2 weeks' time. So 19 drivers to take to the grid in the race this afternoon. 17 in knockout, and obviously that knockout qualification format means that for the first elimination lap, only one driver will be eliminated due to the fact that it is an uneven number. So plenty in store in today's show, and these trophies here, what the drivers are playing for and what the drivers are hoping to get their hands on at the end of the season. But let's take a look at the driver who won at the last time out at the Red Bull Ring, Christoph Holstein then, who was the race winner. And I believe we're going to get images of him in his gear-up session just behind us in a moment. He took a fantastic win in that knockout session. Let's take a look. He's in the lead. It's going to be Christoph Holstein, who is lights to flag victory there. Great drive from him. As all high fives and congratulations for Holstein. What a drive, though, from Christoph Holstein. He deserved the win, and he's now going to jump up onto that top step. And here he goes, a very, very happy, shocked, surprised man. But he'll take that trophy, and he'll take the 3,500 Swiss francs to his bank account. He is one happy man.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And one happy man he was as well. Here he is currently in the gear-up session in the background. He's getting himself prepared and getting himself ready for this Mugello competition. If we look on the timing screen to the far side of us over there, he is actually 2/10 off the back of Alejandro Sanchez. So he's got some pace at Mugello. Can he back up his win last time out at the Red Bull Ring? Christoph will be the one who can decide that one, and we'll see what he can do in the knockout session and in the race later on. But a very happy, surprised man, as we said there, of his race win. He didn't expect it. Little time in the simulator after missing Silverstone, and he came back and really attacked it with a race win. Here is the championship leader, Alejandro Sanchez. Let's take a look. Here comes Sanchez, pulls to the inside now. He's looking left, making sure that he gives on the outside enough space into turn 3. Good gear changes down, nice and clean, and a great manoeuvre. Sanchez can be pleased with that. Good P3. And there is Alejandro Sanchez, a thumbs up, a high five. P3 once again. It's back-to-back third places for Alejandro Sanchez. A fantastic podium.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And that then a fantastic way to cap off his second race. 2 third places for Alejandro Sanchez at the moment. This him in the gear-up session. He is currently the quickest man out there on the circuit so far in gear-up. Obviously, one lap pace doesn't mean anything here because it is a reverse sprint race, if you will, for the knockout qualifying. He's got to come from the back of the pack in that session, and it is going to be very, very difficult and tricky for him to come from there to the front. He's managed it last week. He did well at Silverstone when he had to do it there. It's all about what he can do. He's obviously going to come from 17th place due to 2 drivers having a knockout ban and 1 driver not being here. So Alejandro Sanchez will be coming from 17th place, and it's going to be fantastic to see what he can do as he goes forward into this race and into the session that is coming up shortly then. Let's take a look at the current classification in the championship standings. Sorry, the results from last time out. This was the race result confirmed after the race league. It was Christoph Holstein, Enrique Marinon and Alejandro Sanchez, your top 3. Michael Schmiedl, P4. He's not really had the season yet. He's just not got himself going in this championship. Mark Gasner's 5th place with Angelo Mikel 6th. Sebastian Hirsch 7th, David Seed P8. Javier Loro 9th and Sinan Demerbas rounded out the top 10. The bottom half of the screen then, Alvaro Aznar was P11 with a penalty, as was Loris Mistretta, penalty to his name in 12th. Florin Harser was 13th place. David Ladamada, big penalties to his name, down in 14th place. Kevin Aby was 15th place with a penalty as well. Wojciech Plesny 16th with Ivan Kufman, and Ciro Zambra, penalties to their name, 17th and 18th. And for Ciro Zambra, a man who was very disappointed after his race last time out, looking to hopefully get that off his shoulders and get back to winning ways this weekend. The classification, though, it's 1 point separates Alejandro Sanchez and David Seed in the championship at the moment, with Christoph Holstein in that third place, 25 points to his name. Michael Schmiedl is fourth place. Is in 22. Enrique Marinon is P5 with 20. Ciro Zambra and Sebastian Hirstad on 18th place. Angelo Mikel on 16 points. I believe that's 10 points for Mark Gasner and 6 points for Alvaro Aznar, rounding out the top 10. 4 points for Loris Mistretta in 11th. 2 Javier Laro in 12th. A point apiece for Dominic Dedic and Sinan Demirbas. And an Ivan Kufman, Kevin Aby, Florin Harser, Devin Eastgrove, Wojciech Plesny, David Ladamada yet to score this season. Obviously, the Racer League is all 20 drivers, will stay the same throughout the season. It is the drivers who qualify for the Challenger League that may differ and may change. So these boys are set for the season. And what a season it has been so far at Silverstone, the home of British Motorsport, and at the Red Bull Ring. We're now at the home of Ferrari, and it's going to be an interesting track today as we have back-to-back events in Italy. We're in Imola in 2 weeks' time for the Racer and the Challenger League. There is all that is Alejandro Sanchez. Big spin, big moment. And just as he 360s round, comes back onto the track, got collected by a car coming round who didn't avoid him. So already we saw there, and this is what we're saying, this fast-flowing circuit, these drivers, easy to lose that rear end and just push too hard, and the rear goes round. And that is exactly what Sanchez did there, as we see Schmiedl now goes into P3. He's currently a 10th off the pace at the moment. So Sanchez, clearly work to do. He's had a couple of mistakes now already, needs to get them off of his back and make sure that he does not make them mistakes in the knockout qualifying session or in the race. Coming up, the prize money, though, is as follows. It's 3,500 Swiss francs for a race win here today in the Racer League, all the way down to 200 for a top 10 finish. And if you see in the season, it is 1,500 Swiss francs in your bank account you can take home with you, all the way down to 750 for a top 10. So a lot of prize money on store for the Racer League today and in the season. Christoph Holstein obviously bagged himself that 3,500 last time out. What can he do today? Who will take that top step? Who will take that prize money and the small trophy in today's event? Obviously, the big trophy there, the one to play for, but 3,500 Swiss francs. That is money that can help change. It's a wage, isn't it, in a month, that for one driver this weekend? And can they take back-to-back wins for Christoph Holstein? Can David Seed get a second win of the season? We've seen so far Munich not win a race in both Challenger and Racer League. The calendar, though, is as follows. Mugello, 9th and 10th of June. That's where we are at the moment. Imola, the 23rd and 24th of June. That is in 2 weeks' time. We'll be there to see that one play out. Zurich Airport, home circuit and halfway point of the season, the 28th and 29th of July. Monza, the 1st and 2nd of September. Back into Italy there before we head to Spain for Barcelona, the 29th and the 30th of September. We've got Spa on the 27th and 28th of October, Laguna Seca the 17th and 18th of November, and the Battle for Glory on round 10 of the season at an unknown location at the beginning of December. Battle for Glory, unknown location, unknown track. Nobody knows where it is. Not drivers, not presenters, not the guys in the director's box. Nobody knows where it is yet. It is also round 10. We can now, though, speak with Christoph Holstein, who is live currently in his gear up session. Christoph, hello.
Hi Matthew.
Are we ready for Mugello today? How do we feel?
Pretty good. I love the track. Fast track, difficult track. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Race win last time out at the Red Bull Ring. Can we replicate that and get another race win today?
Obviously, way more difficult from the back. No, definitely not looking for a race win, but trying to get some points. Top 5 would be very, very nice. But yeah, we will see. It depends a lot on other people as well, what will happen.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, Christoph.
Thanks.
So he's there in his cockpit, getting ready in his gear-up session, just preparing himself for the race here. Looking for a top 5, he says, so we'll see what Christoph can do in the race coming up later on this afternoon. He will be one to watch from the back, that is for sure. Keep your eyes on Alejandro Sanchez and David Seed as well, coming from the very back of the grid in the knockout session. How far can these guys progress through the field and get their grid spot ready for the start of this race? For Alejandro Sanchez, he's got to come from the very back, and he's a man who is currently out there practicing as well. Here he is, quickest man on the circuit by a tenth and a half from Enrique Marinon, and you see he's very focused and very determined as he comes through there. He's already made that little mistake, so he's now got to cut these errors out, and not long left in the session, just under 5 minutes left in the session. He's still got to work this out in a very fast lap of a 1:16 at the moment. So he's still got a couple of laps, 2 or 3 laps left in the locker to push that car. And you see he really is pushing the car through the Arabiatas, using as much curb on the exit as possible, and really focused, determined man. He's a man that was fighting for the championship, let's not forget, last time out at Racing Unleashed last year with Michael Schmiedl, and he's now fighting for it again. He leads it at the moment. 2 third places for this man this season so far. It has been a fantastic start to his campaign and a fantastic start to his season. And I believe we have Alejandro with us. Can you hear us?
Yes, hello.
How are we looking forward to Mugello today?
Well, it's going to be very hard to overtake. So we'll try to stay out of trouble and try to move forwards as much as we can.
Back-to-back
So,
podiums.
yeah, it's going to be very hard.
Apologies. Back-to-back podiums in your season so far. Can you get a third today? Maybe that top step?
It would be lovely, so yeah. But I don't know, as I said, it's very, very difficult to overtake around here, so we'll see.
Well, we'll see you're fully concentrated. We'll let you get back to it, Alejandro. Thank you for talking to us, and best of luck later on.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very determined and very focused in the cockpit of his orange liveried Racing Unleashed RU23 car, and Alejandro Sanchez there just pulls to one side just to have a moment. Is that his session over? Hopefully not. He's 2.5 tenths quicker than Enrique Marinon at the minute. Christoph Holstein, he gets back going. There we go. Christoph Holstein still in 4th place, our last winner. Sebastian Hirsch, P5 at the moment on that leaderboard. He's had a great season since his comeback here at Racing Unleashed. It's great to see him doing bits. And our defending champion, Michael Schmiedl, he's a man that's yet to get going really in this campaign. Not seen him on the podium yet so far, and we've struggled to see him at his best. Obviously, the new car this year, does it maybe not suit Schmiedl as much as last year's car did? He's a man who's got to try and get a podium this season. Munich haven't had the best of looks at the moment with the way things have gone. Here he is coming down the start straight now in that slipstream. Obviously the drivers don't get their push to pass, they don't get that in gear up or in the knockout qualifying, so he's just doing this on pure pace at the moment. And he tucks up the inside of a car there, and that was a bit of a wiggle on the exit. And is he just struggling with the limits of this car at the moment? Schmiedl then is a man who's really got to keep his mind focused and keep it going. He will be coming from P14 on the grid in this session. Another little wiggle there as he comes out the corner, but manages to hold on to it. So just trying to find the limits here. You see him fast through the right-left section, using all the curb into the Arabiatas. And he's going to be a man to watch for sure in this session. You always have to keep your eyes on Michael Schmiedl as he comes through the pack. It should be a fantastic race and a fantastic opportunity for him and others to score points. The knockout qualifying then looks a little like this. The first lap, if you're new to Racing Unleashed, is a warm-up lap. No overtaking is allowed. You follow the safety car in single file until you get to that final corner. Laps 2 and 3 are guarded laps, which means there is overtaking. We race as normal and we go for the green flag. You can gain as many positions as you want to, because lap 4 is the first lap of the elimination laps. Now today, the first elimination lap, we will only lose the 1 driver due to there being an odd number of drivers on the grid. As from lap 5, we'll lose the 2 drivers on the grid. So you do not want to be in that last place or that bottom 2 spots coming into the end of lap 4. That is where it can all go wrong and all go horribly wrong for your session. So it's all about getting as many places in them first 2 guarded laps and that first knockout lap to go through and make sure you get as good a start as possible. The penalty roster then, as we like to call it here, with the 2 drivers on their knockout qualifying ban. Devin Iskro carried it over from the Red Bull Ring, and Ciro Zambra, the 2 men who will not qualify today. Devin Iskro will line up 19th, Ciro Zambra 18th in the race. We see there Michael Schmiedl on 12 points himself, Ivan Kaufman, Loris Mastretta, David Ladamada on 10 penalty points to their name. Kevin Aby, Alvaro Aznar on 5, Sinan de Murbas, Enrique Marinon on 2 points. points. So for Smeedle, he needs clean knockouts, clean races, because any penalty points to his name today, he could then be looking at a knockout ban for Imola, and that would be quite catastrophic for his championship, especially if he has to start from the back of the pack. So Devin Iskro, Ciro Zambra, the two men on a knockout ban, and as we know here, or if you are new to Racing Unleashed, their points get reset to 0. They have served their ban. Their points will get reset to 0 for the next time out, and they will have another chance of having a clean slate and starting again. If they get another 20 points to their name, that will then be a weekend ban. So not just a knockout, but a weekend ban as well. And that's really in the Racer League, where you're dead set, your seat is there for the whole season. It is not what you want to your name. Knockout then in qualifying, if you get a 2, a 4, a 6 place grid penalty, these are the penalty points. 2 place grid penalty, you get a 5 penalty points to your name. 4 place grid penalty, you get 10 points to your name. 6 place grid penalty, you get 15 points to your name. And in the race, 5 second time penalty gives you 5 penalty points, 10 seconds gives you 10 penalty points, and 15 seconds gives you 15, so on and so forth. Don't forget, for the first lap of knockout and the first lap of the race, these penalty points are doubled. So a 2 place grid penalty, 5 penalty points, could easily on lap 1 become 10 penalty points. So it's crucial that you have a clean first lap and a clean knockout, because 20 penalty points gets you a ban for the knockout weekend. Your points then get reset. If you then get a second lot of 20 penalty points, giving you a total to 40, that then will be a full weekend ban. The points you see here in knockout, you get no penalties to your name, you lose 2 penalty points. That's the bonus of driving cleanly and of being able to have points taken away from your license. The race as well, you see there, no penalties in the race means you lose 3 penalty points. So the chance to lose potentially 5 penalty points off your license in this weekend's race. And for somebody like Smeedle, who's on 12 already, that could be monumental in terms of taking him from 12 all the way down to 7 penalty points. And that could be huge for his championship. As we see here, a few times have just changed. It's 15 drivers, within 8/10 of a second of each other. It is that close between the top 15 drivers at the moment. It is so tight around here. It's incredibly close. It's Enrique Marinon who leads the way at the moment from Michael Smeedle by 0.5 so far. David Seed is in 3rd place. He's just over 0.5 behind. Here is Enrique Marinon, currently the man who is setting the pace so far. Sebastian Hirsch is 4th. Angelo Miquel is in 5th place. Where is Alejandro Sanchez? Can't see his name on that list. So his name isn't there at the moment, but the top 15 separated by 0.8 of a second, as the practice session, I believe, has just ticked down and come to an end. And there we go. It has came to an end then. So that is the end of the practice session, the gear up session, if you will. The drivers now will stay in their cockpits. They will get themselves ready for the knockout qualifying coming up in a few moments' time. A sprint race format, which should be fantastic. Remember, Ciro Zambra and Devin Iskro will not be competing in the knockout qualifying. They have to serve their bans. Therefore, they'll be starting 18th for Ciro Zambra and 19th for Devin Iskro from the back of the grid in the race a little later on this afternoon. We can all breathe, we can all take a moment, because the action's about to start, and if the times are that close, we're going to see some fantastic knockout qualifying action in just a few moments' time. We can all just relax and rest and take a moment, because it could be frantic shortly as well. Rush hour coming up just after knockout qualifying, where Fabio Vettiger will be joining us, as well as a very special guest here today. And these are live pictures in our GameTV lounge. And there you see Ciro Zambra, the only man who is allowed out the cockpit now, as he cannot take part in this. And there are a few drivers just looking maybe at some data, a bit of a track guide, maybe taking on some last minute information and just making sure they are ready to go in this session. There you see the data being taken on board and really are studying their driving and what they need to do. There is Ciro Zambra. And, well, he's got a nervous wait now, because he knows he's got to come from the back in the race and he knows he can't take part. But each lounge is like a family. Each lounge try and help each other as much as possible. So Ciro there just giving some advice maybe to one of the other drivers in the cockpit as he gets ready to go in the race. And you see, just look at them onboard shots as they are taking every bit of information in as possible and really studying their lines, really watching and making sure that everything is as calm, and great live shots from our camera crew in our Kemptol Zurich lounge. And it's great to see the drivers, look, they're filming their races. They're making sure that they can then watch them back quickly and just see what happened in their gear up session, make sure that any mistakes they may have made, they can look back, cut that out and go again a little later on. There then is live pictures from Madrid. They're ready to go. That's Enrique Marinon in the green simulator just there. He's going to be absolutely ready to pounce in this race. Marcus Valverde just stood outside the cockpit chatting to him. Again, nice to see fellow drivers from the Challenger League on and supporting the Racer League drivers across all the lounges that we have here. Obviously, the 3 lounges today, the Kemptol Lounge, the Munich Lounge and the Madrid Lounge as well. So Madrid, nice and calm as they go through and are getting ready to prepare for their race. And it all looks nice and quiet in Madrid at the moment, all nice and calm. Valverde just talking with Marinon, getting him settled through the start of this one as they watch on the big screen and see the action about to unfold. All the drivers stay in their cockpits and are ready to get, or preparing to get ready to go in this knockout qualifying session. It should be an absolute fantastic day for them. And Marinon, quickest in the practice session. What can he do today? He's going to be an absolutely fantastic chance for him. He's coming from all the way down in 13th place. So can he make some moves and get past a few of the drivers? There's our Munich lounge. The thing I love about Munich this year is they've closed it all off. It's nice and dark. It looks like it's very sort of a focused area for the drivers in Munich. You see a couple of supporters and Racing Leash colleagues sat there ready to go. Smeedle down at the bottom corner in the dark liveried simulator there. And as they call them in Madrid, the lovely ladies are the simulators. All of them lined up, ready to go. And they'll be absolutely looking forward to this race. Knockout qualifying session, should I say, coming up shortly. Here are the cars then, and these are the 5 challenges for the season. So the Zurich Kemptol, 3 liveries today to keep your eyes on. The Zurich Kemptol one is the green liveried car, the red and blue liveried car with the green stripes, the green driver helmet and the green wing mirrors. That identifies the Kemptol Lounge. The Madrid Lounge, the one to keep your eye on today, is the one in the middle. The yellow stripes on the front wing with the yellow wing mirrors and the helmet. And then the Munich one, the beautiful pink liveried stripes, wing mirrors and driver helmet. If they're at the Zurich Airport circuit, they'll be in the light blue, and if they're in calm, they will be in the red here. And this really identifies for you guys at home, so you know which lounge is possibly the lead lounge. So Kemptol with the green, Madrid yellow, and Munich in the beautiful pink. Munich yet to win a race. Challenger League or Racer League. At the moment, they took a pole position yesterday. Mohamed Ramsey very dominant in his knockout qualifying session. Are we going to see a repeat of this today? We'll have to wait and see. Munich, without a win, are looking to push forward in this competition. Obviously, there is nothing in terms of competitiveness, points-wise or anything for the different lounges, but each lounge wants to win over the other. It's like a rivalry between each lounge, and we love this feel of rivalry. We love the feel of the competitiveness between Madrid, Munich and Zurich Kemptol. It's fantastic to see, as we saw Augustin Torlacci said yesterday, a Madrid 1-2, and that's exactly what it was. We've seen Kemptol at Red Bull Ring have a 1-2. We've saw David Seed take wins here at the moment in the Racer League. We saw Christoph Holstein take a win for Kemptol in the Racer League as well. But Munich yet to be on the podium, I do believe, in the Racer League at all. It was Kemptol double podium as was Madrid last time at Silverstone, and I believe it was a double podium for Madrid and Kemptol with the win last time out at Red Bull Ring. So Madrid at Munich yet to take a podium here in the Racer League. So the drivers will be getting ready to go, and we'll bring you a confirmation list of that starting grid, hopefully in a few moments' time, in which we'll be able to go through they'll go away in knockout qualifying. There they are, lined up on the grid then. Our Mercedes GT3 safety car will be driving them away. So the order in the qualifying session, I'll quickly run through it. I've got it here. David Lademar will start in P1. Wojciech Plesny will be second place. Florian Harser will be in third. As we get to pan out now and take you through it. So we'll wait for the graphic to load up and go through it there then. As you see, It'll be Wojciech Polezny, apologies, on pole position, with David Ladamada second place. Florian Harser will be third, Kevin Aby fourth, Ivan Kufman fifth place, Sinan Demirbas will be P6, Javier Loro seventh, Loris Mistretta eighth, Alvaro Aznar ninth, with Mark Gasner rounding out the top 10. Angelo Mikel 12th, Sebastian Hirsch Angelo Mikel 11th, Sebastian Hirsch 12th, Enrique Marinon P13, Michael Schmiedel 14th place, Christoph Holstein will go from 15, David Seed in 16th, with Alejandro Sanchez 17th place. It said there Ciro Zambra 18th and Devin Iskro 19th. They will not be taking any part in the knockout session, and it looks like we are green and go for this knockout qualifying session. Then the safety car pulls them away on their warm-up lap. The drivers all go, and it's now down to the Mercedes-AMG safety car to take them away and to make sure they can get their tyres fully prepared. This is what we see in this knockout session. We get to see the drivers all now can prepare their tyres a little better in this knockout qualifying than in the race itself. And a good opportunity there for Wojciech Polezny here to maybe make a few moves. There is our directors and race control all in their studio. Looking forward to this one. Looking forward to getting going here in this knockout. Obviously, Carl Vedlinger on the race control pit wall today to make sure they are fully ready to be helped out and go in this. And then Wojciech Polezny has let David Ladamada through, and back he goes through now. Okay, so just been told in my ear at the moment that they are not sure whether David Ladamada is P1 or Wojciech Polezny at the moment. Polezny will start P1. Race control have just sorted it. That was why they were side by side and letting each other through for a few moments there. So Wojciech Polezny will go from first place in this knockout qualifying session. So Wojciech Polezny is the man to watch from the lead of this knockout session. Then the safety car starts to pull away, and Wojciech Polezny will have the pace and will be able to control the pace and tell the drivers when to go as the safety car rounds the hairpin. He has an opportunity now. A little bit of last minute preparation on getting them tyres up to temperature, getting them tyres in the right window and ready to go. You start to see the safety car now. You hear it roar off and pull away from Wojciech Polezny. He will back the pack up and he will make sure that the drivers are ones that follow him through. Now, Mohamed Ramsey yesterday really left them in his dust at this corner, decided to really pull away. What's Wojciech Polezny's decision to go? He's not gone yet. We saw Mohamed Ramsey go pretty early. Polezny still weaving and warming them tyres up, so still keeping them sat single file at the moment. And they're all coming down the start. It is for Polezny to decide when to go. He's yet to at the moment. He goes now. So we are green and go in the knockout qualifying session here then. The green flag falls and it's Polezny who leads him away from David Ladamada. Christoph Holstein, not the start he wanted at all. He's dropped down well off the back of the pack at the moment, down in 17th place. So hopefully he's got 2 laps to recover and gain places back. David Eid as well has dropped down a few places. So is Enrique Marinon and Mark Gasner. Marinon back up to 12th place now though. But it is Christoph Holstein 4.5 seconds behind David. So what has happened there for him? Already sitting in a dangerous position at the moment. He's got to come through now and pick up places as quickly as he possibly can then. David Seed, 16th place. We'll have that extra lap. Obviously, one driver will at the end of lap 4. As Sebastian Hirsch and Alejandro Sanchez are battling it out. Here is David Seed on board, as he's really trying to work himself through the pack. He's just being patient, is David Seed, his Spanish driver, teammate if you will. Alejandro Sanchez just in front. We saw how determined he was in that gear up session, and look how focused he is as he comes down in towards the final corner. So the first guarded lap is done. We now move to the second guarded lap, in which Christoph Holstein is now getting himself on the back of this pack. Wojciech Polezny, the fastest lap of the race so far. Christoph Holstein now the fastest lap of the race so far. And there goes Mark Gasner looking up the inside of Enrique Marinon. Marinon's going to try and fight it strong around the outside, the inside for 2. And all nicely done between them two there. Great respect given between both drivers. Marinon hangs on to that place just about from Mark Gasner. Holstein on the back now of David Seed within a second. So he's got on this train And that'll be exactly what he wanted to do. Wojciech Plesny 1.5 seconds out front from David Ladamada. Here is Smeedle then, trying to find his way through the Arabiatas as he comes through the first one. Now into Arabiata 2. A bit of a lift there for Smeedle as he comes through the cut. That'll just be because of the dirty air that is affecting the car and making it a little unstable. Right, Holstein on the back of this train. That is exactly what he wanted. He can now make moves as they to the end of lap 3, the end of the second guarded lap. So it will be driver in 17th place that we will lose at the end of the next lap. So Holstein's got past, he's got his move done. He now needs to make sure he can get ahead of some other competitors. Wojciech Plesny, fastest lap of the race, the first man to dip into the 1:16s. Here comes Holstein then. Crosses the line, knows he's got to make moves now. He's got to make at least one position this lap to have a chance of getting through the next stage of this race. Here's Florian Haase in P3 at the moment on the back of David Ladamada. Plesny's checked out up front, 2.5 seconds ahead of Ladamada already then. And for Haase, he's got a bit of a trail behind David Ladamada, who's trying to break that gap and break that slipstream of Florian Haase. As Holstein right on the back of David Seed, 2/10 is that gap at the moment as they come halfway through the lap. Here's Enrique Marinon, currently in P11, out on track at the moment, the fastest man in the gear up session. But a few laps he can spare at the moment to just be patient and make his places as he goes. He's got Javier Loro, his red compatriot, just in front. And what has happened to David Seed? He's down in 17th place and is a long, long way behind. So David Seed here looks like it's going to be a 17th place start on grid for him. Was it a mistake from the Spaniard? Or did Holstein and him have a bit of a wing together? Either way, David Seed will be the first man eliminated from knockout qualifying then. David Ladamada, personal best, as was the back half of the field really there. Hoffman now gets past AB for 4th place. That's just been further up the road then as Plesny now 3 seconds to the good over David Ladamada. We lose David Seed, he starts down in 17th place. Not the start to his weekend he'd have wanted. And here he is, Florian Haase then, still on the back of David Ladamada. Look at the closing speed there. Just uses a lot more curve than David Ladamada, who misses his apex through that right-hander, gets it for the left. That just compromises his run. Sinan Demirbas currently P6. He's got Knaby just in front and Alvaro Adar behind him as he comes through the Arabiata. All right, Christoph Holstein, Sebastian Hirsch haven't made their way through the field. Alejandro Sanchez says it's difficult to pass around here. And we're seeing just that at the moment. Here is Sebastian Hirsch on the back of Mark Gasner. He's got 4 corners left to make a move and try to gain a place to get another lap under his belt. Really pushing the car hard is Sebastian. He's got left, right, 1 more corner to go before a good lengthy run to the start line. Needs a great run through here if he's to get a bit of a wobble on Gasner's car up front. But it looks like that's going to be the end of that. Wojciech Plesny, fastest lap of the race. Florian Haase on the back of David Ladamada. We are going to lose Christoph Holstein, who will be 16th place. And Sebastian Hirsch looks like he's going to start down in 15th as well. So we lose them 2 drivers. Florian Haase here, though. 4.2 the gap from Ladamada to Plesny, 1 and 2. And Haase is really trying to put pressure on David Ladamada. He'll be able to paint us a pretty picture of the rear end of that car by the end of this knockout session then. Here's Mark Gasner, 14th place. 4/10 off the back of Alejandro Sanchez. Sanchez has his rival from last season in Smeedle just up in front. And he's trying to get a move as well because Sanchez knows that 1 more position could see him go through. Here is Mark Gasner. Another driver from Munich trying to make places. He's running out of corners. Oh, look at them all bunch up there through the right, left section down towards the hairpin at the bottom of the track. Sanchez got to make a move past Smeedle. Gasner's got to get a move past the pair of them. Javier Loro going to start to look at having to overtake drivers here because he's starting to get to that period where he's going to be in that danger zone. For Mark Gasner, it's just a bit too far back. He needs a great run through this corner over Alejandro Sanchez. He doesn't have it. So Mark Gasner is going to line up provisionally P14. Alejandro Sanchez made a few places, but 13th place is as good as it's going to be for our current championship leader then. In this one, Haase has got past David Ladamada. That is for 2nd place. Alvaro Aznar has got past Kevin Aby. As Sanchez there just lifts off, and that is the end of his session. Right, defending champion, what have you got in the locker now? Because you're the man in the danger zone with Enrique Marinon. 11th and 12th for respectively for these two. Allegedly 4.9 seconds ahead of Horser now, so can Horser hunt him down and gain up some more time? He's already put a second between himself and David Ladamada. Smeedle here, currently P12. He's been very patient in these knockout sessions. Javier Loro, we said he's got to get a move on, because he's that fire in line, and look at that, a lunge around the outside from Enrique Marinon, inside for the left-hander, side by side between the two Spaniards. Got to be careful here, because Smeedle's in the back waiting as well. Still side-by-side action from the pair of them. Marinon just tucks back in now. Can't get the move done on Javier Loro, who keeps hold of P10. Here comes Smeedle, looking up the inside of Marinon, does he? He has a look, but thinks better of it. A car a little wide just up front. That could possibly be Angelo Michel. In fact, it may have been Loris Mistretta as well. But we are going to lose. Enrique Marinon will be P11 provisionally, and Michael Smeedle P12 as he crosses the line. And that will be the end of their session. Side by side, though, for Angelo Michel and Loris Mistretta just fill up the road as they come through turn one. Maradon, P11 provisionally for him. Here is Loro sitting up as Michel gets past Mistretta. And that a great job from him. And Enrique Marinon now, Javier Loro now, apologies, to make sure he gets a move done. He can see the cars in front that he needs to get past. He needs to now do it, because at the end of this lap, he is the man at danger, right on the back of Loris Mistretta, who's lost out to Michel and has just lost a bit of pace over Michel already as well. Florian Horser, he's got past Ladamada, hasn't closed that gap to Polesny at all. Still 4.5 seconds between the pair of them. And for Angelo Michel here, right, left, down to the bottom hairpin at the circuit, will give himself one more lap to catch Kevin Aby and Alvaro Aznar. Bit of a wiggle for Loro through the hairpin bottom circuit, left, right, chicane. Once again, you're constantly at the wheel here. Javier Loro's going to come into the final corner, but I believe he's a little deep as well, so that's going to put to bed any chance of a good run out the final corner. So Javier Loro will start P10. Loris Mistretta is going to line up in P9. And this is all the provisional result at the moment. So there is Loris Mistretta inside the top 10 in knockout qualified. He goes straight on as to not get involved with any racing happening. Angelo Michel on the back of Kevin Aby now, and he's got to start to make moves if he's to stay in this session. Half a second behind Aby, and he's a second and a half behind Aznar. So as many places as possible he really needs here. It's a chance for him to gain at least one extra place over his champion rivals. A lot of curve there for Kevin. Just in front into the Arabiat as they come now. You just see the cars bouncing and just getting a little wiggle, and Michel into the grass at the exit of Arabiat 2. Manages to keep momentum though and keep his foot in, and he's still on the back of Aby here for the 7th and 8th place. But for Kevin Aby and Angelo Michel, this is probably the end of their session. Florian Haas at 4.7 off the back of Wojciech Polesny. Kevin Aby rounds the final corner. It looks a good run from Angelo Michel. Big snap, final corner in the dirty air. Kevin Aby is going to line up P7 provisionally, with Angelo Michel, the biggest game in this knockout session so far, lining up provisionally P8. Right, Alvaro Aznar and Sinan Demirbas. We turn our attention to them two drivers. 5th and 6th at the moment for Sinan Demirbas and Aznar then. And they're on the back of Kurven here. So it's maybe to make a move on the lap 10 in this knockout session. There is Sinan Demirbas. He's got Kurven and David Ladamar right in front of him. He knows one place. We'll see him go an extra lap here. Polesny's gap up to just over 5 seconds briefly there. So he's really driving well. Here is Kurven. Towards the bottom end of the circuit. Is it just too much for Sinan Demirbas to do? Whereas Kurven's going to try and maybe take that P3 away from David Ladamada. Left, right, final corner to go. Aznar, good drive from the Spaniard. The highest Spanish driver on the grid today. It's a bit wide from Kurven up front. And Sinan Demirbas there had a little look. He's got the slipstream to start straight. But for Sinan Demirbas, it's only going to be P5 for him. Alvaro Aznar, P6 as they cross the line then. And we look to Kurven and to David Ladamada, who are side by side with each other into turn one. Excuse me, Kurven though has got past, and Ladamada drops down to P4. These two though, 3.9 seconds Kurven's got to make up over Florian Horser in this session. Ladamada looks like he'll keep hold of that P4 unless he can make a move and get ahead of Kurven here for third place late on in this race. See that suspension, busy, hard at work here as it bounces through the Arabiatas. You see it's just bouncing the cockpit all over here. Kurven moves up into third place. And that looks pretty steady at the moment for them too. Just got to make sure you get these final couple of corners right. Left, right, once again, you're constantly chopping at the wheel. Change of direction is so important, but very easy to flick it in and just lose out. So David Ladamada will be P4 as he exits the final chicane, and it's going to be Kurven who will line up P3 as he exits the final corner, crosses the line a third, and a fourth for Ladamada and Kurven there then. Wojciech Polesny 5.5 seconds out in front at the moment, and he is the man who is absolutely flying so far. 5.5 seconds is his gap at the moment over Florian Haase. And for Polesny, he's not put a foot wrong in this session. Haase got past Ladamada to keep hold of his P2, or to gain P2 should I say, and he's had a good session, but Polesny's just been absolutely dominant in this one so far. Not as big as we saw Mohamed Ramsey had, but it's going to be back-to-back podiums for Munich, no matter which driver gets pole position here. Back-to-back pole position, should I say, for Munich as they took pole yesterday in the Challenge League. Wojciech Polesny rounds the final corner now. He's going to be the man who takes provisional P1 in the qualifying here at Mugello for the Racer League. Great job for Wojciech Polesny and Florian Haase there. And a job well done. Can he replicate that in the race? Fastest lap at the very end as well. So great drive from Polesny there. And we will await final confirmation from race control, but that was pretty much a lights to flag win for Polesny in this knockout sprint race qualifying format that we have at Racing Unleashed. It's provided some great action, but I tell you what, a lot of the championship leaders didn't make the moves they needed to make. They're still down the pack a little bit. They've got work to do in this race if they're to score points today. Polesny, great drive from him and from Haase. David Ladamada managed to hold on to P4 at the end as well, so fantastic work from him. Race control now, though, will be very, very busy in terms of making sure that everything is the correct result and will bring us a full confirmation as soon as we get it. The three of them upstairs are now working tirelessly hard to make sure the decision is the right one. What a nice session that was. We've got the race coming a little later on in which Ciro Zambra and Devin East had two more cars to the grid. They then get their chance to attack these drivers and attack this Mugello circuit. And if it's as difficult as Alejandro Sanchez was saying in Gear Up to overtake around here, Ciro Zambra and Devin East got their work cut out for them then, both in our GameTV lounge. Knockout bands for them. They now can focus and get themselves in the cockpit and ready to go. Just been told in our ear that P1, 2 and 3, Wojciech Polesny, Florian Haase and Ivan Kurven have been confirmed as 1, 2 and 3. So Wojciech Polesny is going to remain on pole position for the race, and we'll speak with him a little later on. What a job for Polesny then in that session to get the pole position he did there. Fantastic job from him, and he can be very, very happy with that one. So the top three are confirmed. There are live pictures from our GameTV lounge. That man will be lining up P3. That is confirmed that Ivan Kurven will be P3. Have a stretch, get some fluids, have a drink, make sure you're ready to go in this race. But Kurven confirmed as P3. Florian Haase P2 and Wojciech Polesny, the man on pole. Christoph Holstein, what happened to the start of his knockout session? Hopefully we'll get to see with some replays in our Rush Hour programme with Fabio Vettiger and a very, very special guest a few moments' time. But everybody having a quick debrief and a chat about their knockout session. He can be very happy at the fact P3 has been confirmed for him. Kurven then will line up third place. He gained 2 places in that knockout session to get third place as he started P5 in the knockout. So overtaking not impossible for Ivan Kurven. He made up 2 places. Can he now hold on to these places in the race? The quick championship leaders towards the back, Alejandro Sanchez, David Seed, Schmiedel, Holstein, Hirsch, all got to come from, that back half of the field, and it's going to be very difficult for them to really have to now pick up that pace, and it's not the pace that maybe was the problem, it was the lack of overtaking opportunities. The push to pass will be available to these drivers, and the push to pass will be a chance now to see some moves, maybe down the start straight, maybe drivers using it to defend. These are all things that me and Fabio will be discussing in our Rush Hour programme coming up in just a few moments' time. And I believe we can speak in a couple of moments' time with Wojciech Polezny, our pole sitter, who is confirmed as P1. Don't forget, last week, knockout ban at the Red Bull Ring. So it's gone from a knockout ban to pole sitter. That's, how much changes in 2 weeks, and good momentum then. We saw with Christoph Holstein, got the pole at Red Bull Ring, took the race wing. Can Polezny now do this? Take Munich's first win of the season as well. Going to be very interesting. From a knockout ban to a P1. Fantastic to see Wojciech Polezny there, being able to up his game and make sure that he gets himself in the position he deserves to be, because he's a very, very quick driver, is Polezny. So hopefully he's got a big smile on his face and we can see him delighted to have that P1. And we'll be bringing you a conversation with him in just a few moments' time. Then he's sat in his cockpit waiting to go. And he's a man fully focused. He's just having a quick look around, making sure everything's okay. A very tall man, Wojciech Polezny, from when we've seen him on the podiums in previous races last year. He's a very, very tall man, so them long legs are having a nice little rest before the race a few moments' time. Rush Hour coming up shortly. Fabio Vettiger and myself with a very special guest. We'll be bringing you some replays and some action of the draw. We just got a thumbs up there from Wojciech Polezny, so clearly delighted with that one. In his simulator, Rush Hour, we'll be looking at replays of a few incidents, maybe a few drivers making errors, and we'll just analyse some data from the knockout session. We'll chat as well about the car, about yesterday's race, about what we're going to expect to see. Obviously, we'll be getting Fabio's expert tip for a race win. He's 1 for 1. He's 1 for 2 at the moment. Guessed right at the Red Bull Ring. Not so well yesterday. He's getting ready to be joining us live shortly as well. Can he get his prediction right in that one? I know that's all what you come and tune in for, to see Fabio. Guess who's going to win this race? Right, Wojciech Polezny, P1, knockout ban to P1. What a difference 2 weeks makes. In terms of 2 weeks, you want to get involved here at Racing Unleashed. 2 weeks' time, Challenger League and Race League will be back. This time it's Imola, where we'll be bringing you all the action. Knockout qualifying opens on the 12th of June. Qualifying to be in the Challenger League opens on the 12th of June. So if you want to be a part of it, join us down here at Racing Unleashed, Munich, Madrid, or one of our 3 lounges in Zurich, or one in Calm, should I say. 12th of June to the 21st of June, qualification period will be open for the Challenger League, so get yourself involved if you want to keep up to date with penalty points, championship standings, final classifications. Don't forget to follow us on our social media as well, Instagram and Twitter, to keep up to date with all things Racing Unleashed. Before we head to Imola in just a fortnight's time. 3 races in 6 weeks. It's been a busy period here at Racing Unleashed. We get a good break though as we head to Zurich in a month's time. I believe now we can speak with Wojciech Polezny. Wojciech, can you hear us?
Yes, of course.
That was pole position, and that was a great job from yourself.
To be honest, it's a key to start for first to the race, and I think the track position will do as well. So nothing to do, stay focused, and we will see what happens.
Overtaking seems a little difficult around here, Wojciech. So P1, like you say, track position, the key?
Yep, absolutely.
Going into the race then, what's your ultimate goal? Is it to win this race today? What can you do?
I think the start's perfect. Keep the first position and going ground to self and take a P1.
Well, it's great to see you with a smile on your face, Wojciech Polezny. We'll let you get ready for the race. Congratulations on your P1.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
So a very, very happy man there. And track position is the key, he says, to what could be a fantastic race here in a few moments' time at Mugello for the Race League Round 3 of the season, as we are about to get into rush hour. And welcome back to Rush Hour then, the 1 hour part of the show where we discuss everything Racing Unleashed. We take a look at replays and you give us your fantastic wisdom on who's going to win the race.
Yeah, let's talk about other things first. Exciting knockout, actually.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked yesterday, what happened in the F1 in 2020 on Mugello? Exact same story.
The thing was running through my mind at the lineup of the grid. No incidents, thankfully. A lot like we saw in the F1 a few years ago, but a great job for Wojciech Polesny. Knockout ban 2 weeks ago at the Red Bull Ring, and now a pole position.
Yeah, that's the good thing about this format. Actually, the tables can turn quite quickly, and he just managed to, stay out of trouble. Dave was behind him and maybe blocking some other guys, so he had a healthy gap there. Good for him, especially after the and now it's up to him, I assume, that he can bring home the victory.
Overtaking seemed a little difficult in that session there, and we saw the likes of Alejandro Sanchez. He only gained 4 places in that session. This is the moment where Wojciech Polesny at the start of the session. But with overtaking so difficult, Fabio, the championship leaders all down the bottom of the pack still.
Yeah, I mean, Mugello is not known for a track that is easy to overtake on, but as we said in Racing Unleashed, especially in the knockout, we do not have to push the pass in the knockout, so drivers need to do it old school style without DRS, without any help. So it's going to change definitely in the race because they have 8 push the pass activations ready for them. So we're looking forward to that one.
We saw last night as well how effective the push to pass seemed to be. It's had a bit of a power boost, if you will, in testing over the last 2 weeks. This could give the drivers, we saw a lot on the start straight yesterday, the opportunity to defend or attack.
Yeah, definitely. So the guys have to use it strategically. I'm not too sure how Yannick used it yesterday, but he can tell us a little bit more about that a little later on because he's in the studio. I mean, myself, I believe if you have a good exit on to the main straight, then you can use your activation and maybe also, manage the activations in general, because sometimes we saw, people using it at the same time so that they were defending simultaneously as the other guy was attacking. So, it's going to be interesting how they use it.
Long straight as well, 1.141 kilometres the straight from the final corner to turn 1. We saw a lot of drivers yesterday use it pretty late on the straight. Another tactic there for drivers to maybe use it a bit later than normal on that start straight, catch people out, again, whether overtaking or defending.
Yeah, 100%, because the activation lasts for 8 seconds, and you're longer on that straight than 8 seconds. So they might just use the slipstream to a certain effect and then push the button and go by.
Well, we'll see what happens in a few moments' time. Obviously, the race is going to be a fascinating one to get into. But a knockout session for Ciro Zambra and Devin Iskro, they had to sit out. What's going to go through their mind now as they get ready for the race?
Well, probably the same thing as yesterday, right? With the guys who had the knockout ban. So they were looking into, some action that was going on, especially in the stream, but also in the onboards of the drivers, to just see where drivers maybe take some different lines where they could take advantage of, and basically getting into a rhythm. Even though they were not actually in the simulator. Well,
let's take a look at a few replays here. Here's Alejandro Sanchez, and this is at the very beginning of the knockout session. So I believe the safety car has pulled in. This could tell us what happened to Christoph Holstein at the beginning of the session. And so as you can see, Wojciech Polesny, lead car now, bunching them all up.
It's all. I mean, that's perfect tactics, right? But here it's just, if one car goes in the front, if you're in the back, you have no chance to actually brake, And Alejandro, he did nothing wrong here, actually, because he had a gap. He was actually braking as well. But, when the cars were actually hitting the brakes on the main straight, he had just nowhere to go. So that's exactly what happened in Mugello in the F1.
In the F1, we can see here from an overhead point of view, and obviously Race Control will have all the telemetry for this. They'll have everything at their disposal to see the brake input bit.
I mean, you saw the gap that Sanchez had. So, and Holstein is going because he thinks the others are going as well. So it's just a very unfortunate situation.
And like you say, nothing Polesny did wrong. He controls the pace until the start line. So he's controlling this knockout session. He was the safety car, if you will. Decided to leave it late. Nobody sped up and slowed down. There was no stop-start sort of thing. So,
no, he was actually, on a constant speed. So he just warmed up his tires, waited for the right moment, and the guys in the back, they were maybe a bit eager to go.
What do you think Race Control will look at that as?
In this particular case, it's especially how it's.
So this is Wojciech's position from the lead car. Look, you see there is no change in speed. Yeah, goes now.
Yeah.
But there's no secondary stop. Look, he's gone. He's crossed the line. He's away. So a good tactic from him.
Yeah, and he did nothing wrong.
Yeah,
all good. I mean, he controls the pace. The guys in the back were maybe a bit eager because, you know, sometimes guys leave a bit of a gap.
Yeah.
Maybe you, as a driver, you don't want to be right at the rear wing of your component or competitor, basically, and you want to leave a gap. Maybe anticipate when the first car is going and then have an advantage, right? And this is probably what happened here. Maybe we see who actually caused it.
Another one there. Look, Loris Mastretta just catching the yellow car in front. Similar thing, look, just a bit of a domino effect. We spoke of this yesterday, but this is more on the following cars, not being aware of when the leader has gone.
Yeah, if you're in the back of that bunch there, actually, you're having a bit of a disadvantage if the first car is not going right after the last corner. It's unfortunate, obviously, but it can happen to the best, as we saw in 2020 in F1.
And for Christoph, though, it wasn't the end of his day because he did catch back up to the pack and he managed to end up P16 overall. He gained 1 place over David Sedo at a moment. Here is Holstein. This is on the rear wing of Christoph Holstein's car then.
Yeah, just look at Sanchez now for the gap that he's actually having.
Well, David Seed seems to stay to one side a little bit, doesn't he? Sanchez is a fair way back.
Now they're going. Now he brakes again. And
you see why Sanchez has gone there, because Holstein did speed up a little bit and then have to slow it down.
But you know what's actually funny here? After that crash, Holstein did the fastest lap.
Yeah.
Right after that.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't have any speed, actually.
Got back onto the rear part of the pack, managed to make up a place with David Seedle, had a moment himself. We didn't see what happened there. But was right on the back of the pack with the rest of the guys. Could have easily got through a couple more places, just proving, though, how difficult that overtaking is here at Mugello today. Definitely.
I mean, you saw how bunched up the pack was in the gear up, actually. So they're very, very quick around here. It's very close. It's going to be super interesting in the race how they use the push-to-pass strategically and how they will, manage their risks in dive bombing people into turn one.
Exactly. This is Loris Mastretta on Javier Loro. Up the inside, Mastretta gets it stopped. Bit deep on the exit maybe there, halfway through the corner.
I think it's fine. Just ran a bit wide, basically trying to show him that he's the leading car.
One thing to point out here is great awareness from Javier Loro. We've seen a few drivers in recent weeks just turn in, not leave the space on the inside. Loro there, fully aware of where Mastretta was.
Definitely, he saw him coming, for sure. I mean, look how far away he is, actually. But yeah, good awareness from Javier. Let's see if something else happens in the front there. Yeah, so he was there. He saw him definitely. He might have. Probably he wasn't a happy man there because he lost some places due to that contact there.
And Mastretta there looked like he had a bit of a wiggle on the exit of the corner. He did well to keep a hold of that one and keep that one going. So Loro then pushed a little wide, lost 3 places because of an effect of that one. Race control sort of view on that if he was there doing the job.
It's a tricky bit for me. Maybe not so much a penalty. Who knows? Race control, they're looking at some other parameters, basically. So it's up to them. It's not my decision at all. I'm a driver, obviously. I would say it's a racing incident, but the race control, they do a good job. They just want to, make the right decisions and treat every driver fairly, but in the same way.
You say that you're a driver. You say racing incident. What if you was Javier Loro?
Yeah, I mean, you got me there. Yeah, you got me there. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be very happy.
Yeah.
But I believe if I would set something to race control, they would say it's a racing incident.
And they're the 3 gentlemen there, Carl Fedlinger in the middle, who are going through the process. It looks like one of the screens looks like we're looking at the start line incident. Yeah. Yes, that's a difficult one to call, isn't it? Because start procedure, obviously there is no green lights where we're awaiting pretty much the green flag to drop, which no one can really see from that far back as well. So you are reliant on the cars in front. It's very tricky they're going to be going through, and they've really got to make sure it's the correct decision.
Do you remember what it was in F1? What the decision was in F1? Did someone get a penalty?
I don't know.
I don't remember that one.
Not too sure. I know somebody who would know. He's like Wikipedia with his Formula One knowledge. But Wojciech Poleźny, though, again, just can't speak highly enough of him today because it was a fantastic session and a fantastic drive.
Flawless. Nothing more to say.
Yeah.
Kept it on the track.
A bit like Christoph Holstein back at the Red Bull Ring. He had that P1 position. He did the job in the session, kept out front, and just no mistakes.
Yeah, although he wasn't really under pressure here.
Yeah.
So let's see if the guys can catch up to him. Obviously, Dave Lotomada, he's very good at defending actually. Yeah. So that will be difficult for the guys in the back basically. So yeah, we'll see.
Indeed, we will. So we'll talk more rush hour in just a few moments' time. And we are joined then by our very special guest today, Yannick Pletcher, our racer, our Challenger League current championship leader. Very welcome to you today. How are you?
Thank you. Great. I'm feeling great today. After the race, you know, it was a bit of disappointment because I've got it in the hand, but then I screwed it, and yeah.
You've had a good look at the two trophies on display. Obviously, one at the minute after 3 rounds, you lead the way. One's on offer at the moment.
Yes, the trophy's looking great. I mean, they're really nice, but there's no much to say about it because the season is so long, you know, like 7 races to go.
7 races to go. Now, obviously, you have an added challenge in Racing Unleashed of the fact that you have to qualify for each event. There's no guarantee that Yannick will be on the grid at every event. So, Yannick, the qualification process obviously opens on Monday, where you've got to get in that top 20 on lap times. Just talk us through a little bit about how you prepare for each race. Unlike the Racer League drivers who are there every week in their seat, you have to go through a little bit of a different process.
Yes, I have to set a time, you know. Yeah. But the main focus is to drive consistently. Also on Mugello, it's really only consistency because there's so fast corners and the rear end comes so fast. You must really consistent driving and know how the car works and how it feels, you know.
So Monday, you're going to be preparing to qualify for Imola.
Yes.
Big challenge?
Yes, Imola is quite different to Mugello, but it's a great track. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
Indeed, and we can't wait to hopefully see you out there again. Yannick obviously had the joint fastest time in the Challenger League yesterday in the qualification period with Joshua Hader, I do believe. Matched each other on the lap times to qualify for yesterday's race. You're currently leading the championship. What did you think to the Racer League knockout that we've just saw?
It is really interesting, like Fabio said, because the fast drivers are not on the front, you know, and they're not getting there because it's so difficult to overtake. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to the race because the fast guys must move forward now.
Yeah, they must indeed. We've seen you cheer on Ciro Zambra quite a lot this season. He's obviously cheered you on as well. Knockout ban for him. He's going to line up P18. He's got a very tricky task if overtaking is that hard.
Yes, definitely. It's really difficult, but he was very fast in the training and very consistent, and I think he will do a great job today.
Well, we'll pick your brain for a winner in the race. This is obviously your moment, though, from when you... what thought could have been a win? Just talk us through these reactions here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, it's amazing, you know. It's like so much emotion going on right there. Yes, it was clearly amazing.
Yeah. It's been a good start to your season, a race win at Silverstone, second place, last time out at Red Bull Ring, 5th place, I believe, last night. So a good consistent start. Are you happy with the way your season has gone?
Yes, definitely. I've also done some mistakes in the last race, and I try to learn out of it and move forward, you know. And I'm happy that the mistakes now happen and not far back in the season then. Yeah. So, yes, I'm really looking forward.
Obviously, a long way to go. 7 races, as you say. We're nearly at that halfway point in July. When do you, as a driver, start to look at the points table?
Not as much. I don't look at that so much. I'm just trying to focus on every race, to score some points, or don't make any stupid mistakes with then generates penalty points.
Yeah.
Which is a knockout ban is just starting from P20. Yeah. Valverde did it very well yesterday, from starting P20 to P2. So really great from him.
Yeah, that's good, actually. Would you think, now obviously Valverde had a knockout ban for Mugello, and you say it's very difficult to overtake. Would you say it's the worst track to have a knockout ban, or maybe Imola is even worse than that? Or maybe Laguna Seca, I don't know.
Yeah, then Laguna Seca, it's a must say, because Mugello, you have the long straight with the push to pass where you can gain 4/10. And Imola is also really tricky to overtake into turn 1, because last year I spun with Tiziano, and yes, it's really close battling, and
that's going to be good.
See here, obviously, shots of the GameTV lounge. There is Ciro, who's going to be preparing for the race.
It's actually Melvin there on the right.
Melvin, yes.
The race, lounge attendant of ours.
Oh, it's nice and chill and calm.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, it's a great atmosphere there. You know, you have a lot of drivers, good conversations, some nice sports car in the back. It's a lovely place to be.
What's the atmosphere like on a race weekend, whether it's Challenge League or when you're sat there as a spectator for the race league? What's the atmosphere like in the building?
Challenger League is different because it's Friday night, you know, and the people are a bit sore from the day.
Yeah.
But also on the Saturday, they're also a bit sleepy sometimes, a bit, you know, from the Friday. But overall, the atmosphere is great. It really feels great to be there. And it's getting up and more viewers come, and it's great. We
saw at Silverstone, we saw the reaction of Ciro Zambra and Tiziano Caporio when this man took his race win. That's the kind of atmosphere that we want in the racing lounges, whether it's Munich, Madrid or in Zurich. You know, that kind of cheering the drivers on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you have friends over at the lounge and you can go train with them and even race with them, that's like the best thing that can happen, right?
Yeah.
Obviously now it's a bit different because Ciro is in the Racer League and we have Yannick in the Challenger League. So what would happen if you would make the step up into Racer League and you would suddenly fight against your mate?
Yes, that's also something, yes, I was thinking about. But yes, I think we're colleagues and we can talk about it when something happened, or yes. We're just...
Relationship would be at the professional level.
Yes.
That way, right? I mean, I know that situation because I was training a lot with Dominik Dedic and John Teufen, who is still traveling around the world. I hope he comes back soon. But you just need to have a lot of respect for each other and then leave enough space and just, you know, race fairly.
Now, we're being told in our ear that remarkably, this is fantastic, no penalties to the drivers for the knockout session.
This is how it is done.
Yes.
Right?
So everybody who's got penalty points on their licence, the likes of Mikko Schmiedl, who had 12 points to his licence, he loses 2. So he's down to 10. So it's a fantastic start to the day. So clearly race control not decided to give anything on the race line. What was your thoughts on the race line incident there, Yannick? Obviously you got a good look at it.
Yes, it's a bit difficult, you know, with Christoph and Alejandro. They're, unfortunate. Alejandro thought, the race is going, and got full throttle. Christoph braked, and all of a sudden, yes.
Now, I follow you on social media. It's fantastic to see you. edit a lot of good videos.
Thank you.
The one recently of the Red Bull Ring race.
Yes.
Talk us through the moment you was behind Nico Farland and Rock when their incident happened. What was your thought when you snuck up the inside of both of them?
It was perfect. I even said to myself, I said it, yes, because it was like it was perfect, you know. It was like perfect. the gap was open to me to drive through, and
A little present from the two guys in front there.
I think I called it was Christmas.
Yes.
I think I said so. There we go. Well, thank you very much to Yannick Pletcher and to Fabio Vettiger once again for being in our programme of Rush Hour.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. It's a good start from Rock already. They make contact. And look at this! Look at this! The Rock has tamed the bull.
This is Racing Unleashed.
And welcome back to Race Unleashed, and ladies and gentlemen, where we've made our walk across to the grid, and the drivers will be getting ready to jump into their cockpits in a few moments' time and get themselves sat ready for the start of this race. We're here live on the grid. Ciro Zambri, you see, will be lining up P19, yet to be in his cockpit. Devin Iskro will be P18 on the grid for you as well in Zurich, yet to be in his cockpit. David Seed, 17th place. Hopefully these drivers are going to get back in time. 17th place for David Seed in Madrid then, not the knockout qualifying session he would have wanted here today. As we move to P16 as well. In fact, there we go. Look, there's David Seed climbing into his cockpit and ready to go. In he slides. What a challenge he's got from P17 back there. Going to have a lot of work to do from there. Won at Silverstone. Is he going to take a race win? Can he take a race win? We forgot to get Fabio's race winner prediction, actually, so we'll have to let him off this week in terms of that one. But final words from family and friends, obviously, as he climbs into the car and gets himself ready, straps himself back in as well. So we hopefully... we'll see what David Seed can do in this race. Yannick Pletcher obviously knows all about that from when we spoke with him a few moments ago. Do we have David Seed with us? David, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
There we go. What can you do in the race today, David?
Well, hopefully do a great comeback and maybe get some points.
P17 on the grid.
I hope so.
Well, we wish you the very
it's
best of luck from there.
Thank you.
So David Seed then, P17 for him. Christoph Holstein, P16, after being spun around at the beginning of the knockout session. He's got a tough task ahead of him today. P16 for Christoph Holstein to get off the grid. Maybe some more points. He says he's looking for a top 5 when we spoke to him in Gear Up.
That plan gets more difficult now, starting from so far back. But I'll try my best. Hope for some incidents, and then we'll see.
Well, best of luck to you, Christoph.
Thank you.
Sebastian Hirsch lines up in P15 then. He's going to be another man to watch from the back of the pack. Little overtaking in this race so far, but what can Sebastian do? He's got a big job ahead of him in this race today. He's got a lot of moves to go. We're seeing a lot of the quick drivers, a lot of the championship leaders starting from by the back of the pack today. So they've got a lot of work to do to get to the front. And Sebastian, just a big stretch there as he's getting ready to go. Big work, and it's great to see this man back in the car. Mark Gasner, P14 then, in Munich as well. A decent knockout session for him. He's going to want to make more places. 4 places till he can get himself in the points. Mark Gasner, a lot of work to do for him to score some points. 4 places seems very difficult to do here and overtake today. Obviously, for these drivers, they're the guys who's got to get this work done, and they're the ones who can see what they have to do. Alejandro Sanchez. We spoke to him in Gear Up. He can hear us now. Alejandro, 13th place. What can you do from there?
I don't think I can do much, but we'll try our best as always. I think I've been in between P11 and P13 for the past 2 rounds. So yeah, we'll see where we can end up. I don't expect much, to be honest, because it's quite hard to overtake. As you saw, there's only one real place where you can overtake. But yeah, there will be some incidents for sure, so we'll try to capitalize and stay off trouble.
Well, we wish you the best luck, Alejandro.
Thank you.
He lines up P13, then he said in Gear Up it was difficult to overtake around here. What can he do? This man, your defending champion then, Michael Schmiedel. He has got a big task ahead of him. P12 on the grid at the moment, 2 places from getting into the points. Yet to see him on the podium this season. Can we see the defending champion get himself up onto the podium from P12 on the grid? As then we look to the Madrid lounge, P11, you see, just next to Schmiedel there, getting himself ready. That's Enrique Marinon. Oh, we can hear Schmiedel now. Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How are we looking to go in this race from P12?
Well, I will do my best, but it's hard.
Where do you think you can end up at the end of this race?
Well, I'm happy when the race is over, to be honest.
Difficult to overtake around here is what Alejandro is saying. Is that what you feel as well?
Yeah, almost impossible. Only when the guy is doing a mistake in the last corner, but that's about it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Hopefully the push to pass will give us some more overtaking for you.
Thanks.
So Schmiedel there then, P12 for him. Enrique Marinon lines up in 11th place. He was the man who was quickest in Gear Up, and he is a man who's got to try and get himself into the points. He nearly made a move on Javier Loro to get himself into that top 10 on the grid, and I believe we can hear Enrique Marinon now. Enrique, P11 for yourself.
Yes, hello.
What can you do in the race, my friend?
Well, I'm not sure. I imagine it's going to be a bit chaotic at the start because those turns are a bit tricky. And, well, I'll try to be in the top 10 and let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Well, we wish you the best luck in terms of getting some points, Enrique. Good luck.
Thank you.
And then from Madrid, we stay in Madrid as we enter the top 10. Javier Loro is the man in 10th place. And I believe we can speak with Javier now. No, Javier. So P10 for Javier Loro at the moment. He is in Madrid getting ready to go in his race, the Spanish driver as well, inside the top 10. Loris Mistretta lines up in P9. Our Italian driver in Zurich Kemptol, he's got to come and maybe score some points today. What can Loris Mistretta do as he goes through the pack? Can he make up some more places with this push to pass now and get himself inside the top 8? We can speak with Loris now. Loris, P9, what can you do in the race?
I don't know. Let's see. The race is long. I need to find the rhythm at first, but I think there's going to be some incident and going to profit from that, hopefully.
Push to pass available to you now. Hopefully you can make some more overtakes.
We'll try. We'll try.
Best of luck, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Loris Mistretta there. P9 for the Italian driver. Angelo Michel is P8 at the moment, lining up on the grid. We saw this driver make some overtakes today. He had a fantastic knockout session, the man who gained the most positions in the knockout qualifying session. And he lines up P8 on the grid. And for Angelo Michel, it's going to be a fantastic day to make some places as he gets his gloves on and prepares for this race. Angelo, P8, what can we do in the race?
I don't know, to be honest. I think it will be very difficult to overtake. I think everyone said the same. You need to wait for the mistakes, and we will see how the new push to pass will work this way out. But I think everyone will use it on the same straight, so we will see how tactical it gets.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck, Angelo. Go and get some more points.
Thanks, mate.
Angelo Michel then. P8, 7th place for Kevin Aby then. He is the man in Zurich Kemptol. He's got a tough task ahead of him. Can he get that way in towards the podium as well? And I believe we can speak with Kevin now. Kevin? We don't speak with Kevin, apologies. 7th place for him though in Zurich Kemptol. So 7th place in GameTV for him. Alvaro Aznar, P6 in Madrid. He's fully focused. He had a good couple of places he made up in the knockout qualifying session. And he was a man who made a few up from the middle of the pack. He's just off the podium. 3 places he needs to get on there. Can he get on there? He's a very, very fast driver. Good pace inside his car. Can he get himself in the top 3? Alvaro, it's a tough task today for overtaking, but what can you do?
Hi, for everyone. Okay, I think that I will try to be on the podium, but I know that I have a lot of drivers behind me that are so fast, and maybe I will have to defend a lot in this race.
Push to pass, hopefully it'll give us a bit more overtaking. Do you think that could work for yourself?
Yeah, I know that is I have this option, but last race in Austria, I had 0 push to pass in the whole race, and I hope this time it works.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Alvaro Aznar there, P6. Sinander Murbas in Munich, P5 then. A man just off the podium as well, came up into the Racer League this season from the Challenger League. He's a man who's got a lot of work to do to stay on this to get onto this podium and maybe take a good haul of points in his championship race as well. Sinan, P5 for yourself. What can you do in the race?
Yeah, stay in the top 10. My pace is good. I just want a clean start to the first lap, and then let's see. I just want to not get taken out for once, so I just want to have a clean race.
Well, we wish you the very best luck on a very difficult circuit.
Thank you.
Sinander Murbas then, P5. David Ladamada is P4. He's lining up then in Zurich GameTV. A great defensive drive from David Ladamada there then. What can he do in this race from P4 for him in our Zurich GameTV lounge? And you see next to him, another driver in Zurich, P3 for Ivan Kufman. Then a good start to his qualifying, a great overtake on David Ladamada. And he now has that chance of maybe getting himself a podium and a good lot of points in his race. He's just got to make sure he can hang on to it in this race. As Zurich GameTV lining up P3 with Ivan Kufman. Ivan, what can you do in this race?
Yeah, I look forward and I hope I can keep the position on the podium, yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
P2, Florian Horser in Munich then. He's got a big job ahead of him. Can he catch his fellow Munich driver, Wojciech Polezny? It was fantastic qualifying from Florian Horser in this knockout qualifying session. He lines up P2 with Wojciech Polezny, the man who dominated the knockout session in P1. He was a very happy man earlier. Can he be an even happier man by the end of the race? So that then is how the drivers line up, and that is how it will be in terms of the race start. Wojciech Polezny and Florian Horser will be the 2 drivers to get everything underway. There you see a full confirmation. Polezny, Horser, P1 and 2, Ivan Kufman, P3, David Ladamada, 4th, of Sinander Murbas, 5th, Alvaro Aznar, P6, Kevin Aby, 7th, Angelo Mikel in the top 8 with Loris Mistretta and Javier Loro rounding out the top 10. Bringing up the bottom half of the field. Then Enrique Marinon will go from 11th place with Mikhail Schmiedl, P12. Alejandro Sanchez, championship leader, in 13th. Mark Gasner, 14th place. Sebastian Hirsch down in 15th with Christoph Holstein, 16th. David Seed, 17th. And then the 2 knockout qualifying bands for Devin Iskro lining up P18 and Ciro Zambra coming from 19th place. That then is your grid for the race. The drivers climbing into their cockpits and are getting ready right now for this 21-lap race of this absolutely fantastic circuit. 5.2 kilometres here at Mugello in Tuscany, the home of Ferrari. And for these drivers, they're lining up ready to take their spot and maybe take home that 3,500 Swiss francs in prize money and put themselves one step closer to one of them beautiful trophies we saw over there a little earlier on. It's going to be a fantastic race. We can't wait to get going. And I'm sure the drivers are itching for the green lights to appear as well. So they're all lined up, ready to go. They're in grid position. The drivers are all in their cockpits. We see there the front on camera, ready to go. The revs start to rise now, and we start to see this opportunity of the drivers getting to take this race start and really go with it. The lights come on now, though. And it is green and go here in the Racer League for round 3 of the season at Mugello. It's a great start from the front two. Wojciech Plesny has got away really well as they come up and over the hill. Florian Harser goes with him. In fact, I think Florian Harser is going to try and attack around the outside of Plesny into turn 1. Can't get it done there though. Difficult to overtake, so was the start all important for drivers. Defends that inside line. He compromises his run into turn 3. Does Florian Harser there, who's a little wide. We saw a car just touch a bit of gravel as he comes through. Javier Loro's dropped from 10th to 8th at the start of this race already as well. Loris Mistretta moves himself up to 4th. Alejandro Sanchez, what a start from him. He's gone from by the back of the grid all the way up into P5 at the moment. He's gone up nearly 8 places. Has Alejandro Sanchez, fantastic start to his race. And he's already sitting in the top 5. And this man, he's no wonder he's the championship leader. But he's still got a long way to go at the moment. He's used a push-to-pass lap. Everybody, bar a few drivers, have used a push-to-pass lap. Smeedle up into P6. David Ladamada, he's tumbled down the order. What's happened to him? He's had a problem. And Ivan Kuffman was P3. He's tumbled down the order as well. So down the order for him. Javier Loro recovering into P13 at the moment. What can he do as he tries to get back to the points? Holstein's had a good start, 16th place. He's up to 10th as well. 6 places gained for him. So crucially, it all seemed to be done then off the start line and in the first couple of corners where the pack was bunched and incidents happened. Drivers using their push to pass. Smeedle's already down 4 laps. Here comes Holstein up the inside of Angelo Mikel. Mikel gives him plenty of room, and that is a great move from Holstein. Moves himself up another place. Mikel looks back and gap not really there and no contact made, fortunately for Angelo Mikel, who drops down to 11 now. And Holstein trying to hang on into that top end spot. Sanchez, he's moved himself up into P4 and he's gaining on the back of Loris Mistretta. Half a second is the gap for this man, Alejandro Sanchez. Difficult to overtake, he said, but he's at the moment doing a fantastic job. Right, then left once again. Lap 2 of 21 for Sanchez here. Mistretta's not yet used push to pass, so he's got to use it tactically, but he's got great pace in his car. Sinan Tomas has dropped down the standings a little bit. He's gone from 5th to 8th. Sebastian Hirsch as well, another good climber. He's just ahead of Sinan Tomas. You see the 4 Munich cars all in a row there. And here's Smeedle, looking focused and determined at the moment to get this one done. Gets a good run over Sebastian Hirsch there. Over Sinan Tomas there, apologies. As drivers use push to pass, Mistretta now uses a lap of his. Couple of drivers down the bottom end of the field yet use their push to pass. Enrique Marinon, Javier Loro, David Seed, Devin Eastgrove and Ivan Kuffman. But it's Sinan Tomas who's trying to defend from Mikel Smeedle. Ciro Zambra going side by side with what looks to be David Ladamada, and Ciro Zambra going right around the outside of David Ladamada, up the inside at turn 2. A bit of contact there made between the two, well held from Ciro Zambra, and around the outside a bit of a wiggle. Has to tuck back into 17th place. There is Ciro into T4 and turn 5, and he's now got to start looking at Devin Eastgrove behind him as well. For Ciro Zambra, a long way from points at the moment, and he's trying to fight with David Ladamada. Back to Sinan Tomas, who's got the defending champion right all over the back of him. Sebastian Hirsch just in front. Christoph Holstein trying to get on train as well. He's trying to get on the rear end of Mikel Smeedle. What has happened to Angelo Mikel? He's tumbled down the leaderboard a little bit there. He's lost 4 places. Javier Loro got past Enrique Marinon as well. So 2 places gained for Loro there. Puts him on the cusp of points. Stretta uses another push to pass. Here is Angelo Mikel, who's now lost out to David Seed as well. And he's down in 15th place. Apologies. Having a look at defending from Smeedle, but Smeedle gets the job done. He's only got 3 laps. A push to pass left, and what's happened up front? Oh, it's chaos! And Smeedle involved in the incident. I believe one of the Madrid cars was also caught up in that. It looked like Asnar. Excuse me. So Asnar off. Smeedle off. Demerbas now back up in 6th. Holstein 7th. Marinon up to 8th. Loro's 9th. Kevin Abeys into 10th. And David Seed in 11th place. And well, for the defending champion, it just isn't going his minute. Sebastian Hirsch, I believe, was another driver involved. He's dropped down to 18th place. There's car 2 wheels in the gravel. Just ahead of Smeedle and Asnar there then. May have been Javier Loro because Kevin Abeys just got past him. Angelo Mikel now looking on the back of Asnar. Alejandro Sanchez still sitting behind Loris Mistretta. He's trying to find a way through. Round the final corner he comes. Polesny's not pulling away from Harsa as much as he was in the first race. Here comes Sanchez, push to pass activated. Jinx left, cuts right, up the inside. Thank you very much. And that is P3 for your current championship leader. But back at him comes Loris Mistretta. No can do in turn one. Alejandro Sanchez, fastest lap. And on the podium now, he's going to catch up to Harsa, you'd imagine, in no time. David Seed trying to attack Smeedle, as Smeedle, I believe, got himself through there. Loro and Kevin Aby just up front, side by side as well. So Smeedle trying to get back into the points then. As he's on the back of Kevin Aby then. Just misses his apex at turn 4, picks it up for turn 5. Smeedle now gets a great run through there. And can't do anything about that as they come through the middle sector of the lap into the Arabiatas. Now it's a key moment, look, big lift off the throttle there as he bounces on the curb. Clearly the car not wanting to dwell in that dirty air of Kevin Aby in front. So Smeedle down in 11th place at the moment, work to do. Back at the front though, Alejandro Sanchez, half a second off the back of Florian Harsa now then. As he's got a 2-second lead out front. Sanchez strategically using his push to pass. When he gets close enough, he feels that half a second is too much. But was some 0.6 of a second quicker on the last lap than Harsa. So if you're 0.6 quicker this lap, you'd imagine he'd be right on the rear wing of that car as he comes towards the line. In turn 2 and 3. Holstein trying to attack the back of Sinan Demirbas now. He was hoping for a top 5, he said, in gear up. Well, he's not a million miles away from it. Here is Christoph Holstein. Right on the back of Sinan Demirbas. Uses a lot of curb on exit there, did Sinan. Through 4 and 5 again, a lot of curb from both drivers on that exit here. And for Holstein within 0.4, he's just getting closer, you feel. And he's just trying to make sure that he can get this job done. Through the Arabiatas, down towards the final sector for the 6th time in this race. Christoph Holstein then, still just tucked behind. Here's David Seed. He's got Alvaro Aznar on the back of him. He's got Kevin Aby just in front as well. So Smeedle's got a Kevin Aby. Here's looking back from Kevin's view. You see there David Seed, Aznar and Angelo Mikel. A bit of a train at the moment. Alejandro Sanchez now uses push to pass. He's within 1/10. He pulls the inside line over Florian Harsa again. And it may not be no P3 this time for Alejandro Sanchez. He's up into P2. And he is as cool as you like at the moment. Alejandro Sanchez flying so far. 2 seconds behind Wojciech Polesny. Holstein as well has got himself past Sinan Demirbas. So that's 6th place for him. But for Sanchez, 4 usages of push to pass left. As David Seed has got past Kevin Aby then. And now Asnox to come through as well. Ciro Zambra and Sebastian Hirsch changing places on the leaderboard. And for Kevin Aby, P12 now for him in this race at the moment. He's got Aznar and Mikel breathing down his neck. Smeedle's the only man to use all 8 laps of push to pass. He's got no more at his disposal. And Sebastian Hirsch once again back ahead of Ciro Zambra then. And look at that, this lap alone, Alejandro Sanchez has took half a second out of Polesny's gap. So Alejandro Sanchez here is absolutely flying. He's a man on a mission at the moment. Kevin Aby trying to defend from Alvaro Aznar, Angelo Mikel. Sebastian Hirsch will want to get on the back of this pack while there's a bit of a train forming. Bit of a wiggle there for Kevin Aby then. In towards the final corner. Here's Enrique Mount, quietly gone about his business in P8. He's got Sinan Demirbas right in front of him. You see the red number. You see the push to pass number turn red. That's because he's activated it. And up the inside goes Enrique Marinon. That's another move done. Christoph Holstein, fast lap of the race. He's charging. Is Christoph in this so far? Aznar, a bit too far back to make move. Sanchez has took 6/10 once again out of his lap. He was so much quicker than Wojciech Polesny on the last lap. He's now within 1 second of Wojciech for the lead of this race. He is absolutely flying today, is Alejandro Sanchez. As they flick the car left and right through the chicanes again, down towards the middle sector. Here is Polesny. Still looks nice and calm, still looks determined. But when he sees that behind him, he might start to just panic a little bit. He's still got 7 usages of push to pass left, 3 more than Sant has at his disposal. Sanchez within half a second. He is absolutely flying, is Sanchez today. Look at how calm he looks in his cockpit there. He is absolutely on a mission. Can't overtake, he said. Well, he's come from 17th to 13th in the knockout qualifying. He's gone from 13th, and he's on the back of the race leader at the moment. Push to pass, clearly working in terms of being able to allow these cars to overtake. Bit of a wiggle on the rear for Sanchez. Marinon does a personal best lap this time around, as Javier Loro. Is that all the dirty air that's playing with the rear end of Sanchez's car? Within that half a second time frame now, he'll be really feeling the effects of the dirty air. Hirsch gets it slowed down nice and easy, gets it turned in. He's now on the back of David Ladamada. So he's dropped down a couple of places, as is Alvaro Asnar. He's down in 19th place as well. So what has happened to Hirsch and Asnar? Then they was in a pack with Kevin Aby and Angelo Mikel. That's put Zero Zambra up 14th place now, but for Hirsch, currently 18th place. Asnar down in 19th and well off the back of the pack. Hirsch here trying to get ahead of David Ladamada. Right, 0.3 of a second. Push to pass. Activated on the exit of the corner. Here comes Alejandro Sanchez. Wojciech Plesny uses his as well, though, to defend from Sanchez. That's going to give him a few seconds more because he used it a little later. Sanchez going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Looks to the outside of turn one. Plenty of room given from Wojciech. A little wiggle from Wojciech's car there, and Sanchez thinks better of it at the moment. Into 2-3. Sanchez is now pouncing and attacking the race leader. Lap 10 of 21. At half distance, it's Alejandro Sanchez hunting down Wojciech Plesny here. The only man to still use all his push to pass is Smeedel, down in 9th place, who's gaining on the back of Sinan Demirbas. But this is for the race lead, 4.5 tenths. Sanchez has to be tactical here. He's got 2 laps less push to pass to use than Wojciech Plesny. So he's got to use this tactically. You saw on the last lap, Sanchez activated his straight out the final corner. Plesny activated his a little after, meaning that he was able to have that bit more power down towards turn one. And when are they going to use it this time? A bit of a wiggle again from Plesny coming out the final corner. Now they both use it. Sanchez just before Plesny yet again. He pulls out to the outside line now into turn one. Here comes Sanchez. He's got a car ahead. Plesny's still on the inside though. Defending like a warrior into turn one. Sanchez right around the outside. Can he keep it there for turn two? He can indeed. Still together. And now he's got to give Plesny the room. Plesny backs out a little bit and Sanchez gets it done. What a fantastic move that's from Alejandro Sanchez, who leads this race. 2 usages of push to pass left. He's come from 13th place on the grid all the way to the front. He's been an absolute machine so far in this race. And now, no dirty air. Can he pull away from Wojciech Plesny? They've got 2.8 seconds back to Florian Holler. So no real trouble from behind at the moment. But Sanchez putting daylight between himself and his Munich rival. We still may have to wait for a Munich. Here's Smeedel on the back of Sinan Demirbas. 0.4 of a second this gap is. But for Smeedel, no push to pass, crucially to use. To the bottom end of the circuit comes Smeedel. Got the left-right chicane here, flicks left, jinks right. Final corner to go. Demirbas has plenty of push to pass left. Will we see Demirbas use it here? Well, that look on that face from Smeedel there, look a bit of discontent, if you will. He's gaining on Demirbas in the slipstream here. He's going to pull to the inside. This is Loris Mistretta, 4. Gaining on the back of Florian Harser here, 0.8 of a second for that final podium position. Smeedel then, P8. Job done over Sinan Demirbas, thank you very much. More points in his championship at the moment. Plesny used the push to pass last lap. He got 1.1 seconds to Sanchez. Sanchez has not used any since he's pulled away. Hirsch and Ladamar having a good little scrap down the pack for 16th and 17th. Sebastian Hirsch now the second driver to finish all of his push to pass laps. Loris Stretta now trying to gain even more on Florian Harser for the final podium position. Gap probably a bit too big at the moment. Loris Mistretta and Horser have 7 and 6 laps, or usages of push to pass. Horser uses 1 now. That'll take him down 6. Pellegrini does his personal best lap of the race, but was still 4 tenths lower than Alejandro Sanchez. Down to 14th, Ciro Zambra and Devin Eastgrow, the 2 on a knockout. Sorry, Ciro Zambra on the back of Kevin Abe here. And Ciro got a couple of cars in front. He can see the points in front of him, actually, can Ciro Zambra. Here comes Ciro, 5 usages of push to pass. Kevin Abe has none. Ciro goes to the outside, looking for the long way around at turn 1. Here he goes. Can he copy what Sanchez did? He can. He's got the move done, though, before turn 2. So great move. Ciro Zambra moves himself up into 13th place. He's got a short gap now to Angelo Michel, Loro and David Seed. So a potential point on offer for Ciro Zambra today. After his knockout ban, he's trying to come forward. So 3 drivers have used all their push to pass. David Ladamada has 1 lap left. Here's Javier Loro. 5 usages at his disposal. He's trying to chase down his Madrid compatriot in David Seed, who's got a bit of a gap back to Sinan Demerbas. Smith's 2.5 behind Marinon. Here's Holstein then, on the back of Mark Gasner. Both with 4 laps of push to pass left. Loris Mistretta uses a push to pass, so does Mark Gasner. Does Holstein think of using one a little later? He does not. So clearly feels he's got to get closer to her Gasner before using push to pass. Lap 14 of 21 here then. You gap out front, Sanchez Pellegrini, 2 seconds. Pellegrini back to Horser, 3.4. Horser to Mistretta though, 6 tenths of a second. We're on board with Angelo Michel. 3 tenths of a second behind Javier Loro, you see there just in front. David Seed as well for the points. P12 for Michel at the moment, not the best of days for him. He was 8th, so he's lost 4 places in this race at the moment. No one has had an answer though to Alejandro Sanchez. He has been absolutely flying in this one. Looking back from Javier Loro to this man, Angelo Michel. Currently P12. You see the points just in front of him, that final 10th place point. Chris Holstein wanted a top 5, would have took a top 5 in gear up, he said. Now deep into the corners. He goes, Holstein, P6. Mark Gasner uses another push to pass. Holstein still decides not to use one at the moment. Enrique Marinon behind. Catching on to the pair of these two, he used a push to pass. He's down to 5 laps, same as Holstein. Mistretta's lost out to Horser up front a little bit. That's opened up to over a second. As who's this? Devin Eastgrow and Kevin Abe side by side down towards turn 1. Eastgrow on the outside, the red car. Can't get the move done. Kevin Abe back in front. Eastgrow had a knockout ban as well. He's trying to follow Ciro Zambra through and make up as many places as possible. Best buddies, these two, so they won't want to make contact here. Kevin Abe and Devin Eastgrow really are giving it all they've got on this Mugello circuit. Down through the S's towards the Arrabbiata. Bit of a wiggle there from Kevin Abe just up front, you saw it. Oh, he scrolled over the curb and a big wiggle from Devin. Right into the gravel. And here comes Fishin Kuffman and Ladamada. Carefully scroll on the rejoin. Now Asnar gets through as well. And it's gone from 15th place down to P19 and last for Devin Eastgrow. Big wiggle through the second Arrabbiata there. And that has put him well off course. And for Devin Eastgrow, all that hard work has just come undone. Sebastian Hirsch still on the back of David Ladamada. Takes a tighter line through the final corner. Doesn't get on the power as early as he'd have liked there. No push to pass left for Hirsch. Kuffman does behind him though. Hirsch goes to defend. And Kuffman, easy as you like through. In fact, may get 2 here on the short straight. Wow, look at that, Kuffman. 2 down the short straight thanks to push to pass. That's a great usage of it there from Ivan Kuffman then, who was the man starting P3. He now moves himself into P15. Good work from him. Hirsch, with no push to pass left, has got to try and make some moves here. Holstein's got Marinon on the back of him. He's trying to gain as well on Mistretta. On Gasner, apologies. Mistretta back within 6 tenths of Florian Horser. Sashin Hirsch, though, still on the rear wing of David Ladamada. There's a view from Kemp Tall. You see Devin Eastgrove closest to the screen. Hirsch, bit of a wiggle on the exit of the corner there. Is that just the dirty air affecting the car? As they come towards the bottom end of the circuit once again. Lap 17 of 21 we're on now. 3.6 seconds out front Sanchez to Polesny. Here's Hirsch on board. David Ladamada takes that tighter line this time around. Alvaro Aznar is not a million miles away in the background, still with 4 usages of push to pass. And they've got Kurven disappearing up the road at the minute. Aznar not thinking of using push to pass just yet. Still saving some of his battery power. You might want to do what Kurven did and get 2 down the start straight. Hirsch here, without that push to pass, just cannot find a way past David Ladamada then. Angelo McKellen, Zambra's got themselves past Javier Loro on the timing screen, moves them up to P11 and 12. Can they gain on the back of David Seed late in this race? Sanchez uses another push to pass. Hirsch off the throttle through Arrabbiata 1, a little lift through Arrabbiata 2. Where can he find that bit of momentum over Ladamada in front? So Ciro Zambra from P19 up to P12 at the moment. Holstein on the back of Gazner now. Gazner with 1 lap of push to pass left to use. Holstein with 3 usage left. For Holstein then, a chance to get that top 5 he was talking about. He's got a very fast Enrique Marinon gaining in the background. Through the middle sector they come now. There is on board Christoph. Almost biting on that bottom lip, trying to just stay focused and determined here. Can actually see the podium just in front of him as well. And lap 21, about to start the 90th lap. Is it just out of reach? Sanchez now uses his final lap of push to pass. Has got a 5-second lead over Polesny. Sanchez as well does the fastest lap of the race. We're on board of that Ladamada, who's had a big little wiggle through the second Arrabbiatas, and off he goes. Asnar's got past Hirsch somewhere, and that is how Hirsch will finally get past David Ladamada. Well, that face says it all. It has not been his race. Holstein now has got past Gazner while we saw Ladamada in the gravel. So for Holstein, he's up into 5th place. He's got 1.5 seconds to Loris Mistretta, who's right on the back of Florian Horser as well. Here's Mark Gazner there, trying to hang on 6th place now as he's got Enrique Marinon right behind him. Through the middle sector into the final sector. Christoph Holstein, P5, lap 19 of 21. He's got 2 laps to gain 1.2 seconds. Can he get it done? Here's Loris Mistretta, P4 at the moment. He's been staring at the back of Florian Horser's car all race. Just cannot get this move done. Can't get close enough to get the move done. Everybody now coming to use their final usages of push to pass. Who's this side by side? Marinon and Gazner. Marinon choosing to go the long way around turn 1. Can't get it done. Tucks back behind Gazner. Gazner's drove a good defensive race today. He's defended from Holstein for a while. He's now got to defend from Marinon. He's got 2 laps left to do so. Good gap back to Smeedle. Angelo Mikkel's just popped up on the top 10 there then on the timing screen. So he's clearly got past David Seed. He's got Ciro Zambra close behind him as David Seed as well. But we're looking back from Gazner to MK Marinon into the Arrabbiata's middle sector of the circuit. As they enter the final sector now, has Marinon got enough in the tank to get past him? Gazner's got no usages of push to pass left. Marinon has 1. So can Marinon get close enough to you? That's the question. 3.5 seconds the gap out front. Holstein's within 4/10 of Loris Mistretta now, so really flying at the minute is Christoph. just over 1.5 till he's on the podium, but he's only got 1 lap left. He's got time to use his last push to pass lap. Gazner goes to the left-hand side, comes back across to the right, trying to break the toe of Marinon, who's got 1 lap of push to pass left. He's not used it. We're on the final lap. Either did Holstein, so where's Holstein and others going to use their final push to pass here then? Has Gazner done enough to just hang on to that P6 spot? I reckon he has. As into the middle sector, into the final sector, comes Alejandro Sanchez. He's been dominant today. Can't overtake, he said. He's gone from 13th place to lead this race. He's led it to not look back since he took the lead of this race. And for Alejandro Sanchez, it could be glory as he comes towards the final corner now. A fantastic drive from this man. It's been 2 P3s so far this season, but it's provisionally going to be P1 for Alejandro Sanchez in Madrid, who takes race win number 1 of the season for him. Great drive. Wojciech Polesny as well, P2. Fantastic stuff from him, 6.1 seconds behind in the end. Did Florian Haase hang on to P3? Believe he did. Yes, he did. Loris Mistretta will cross the line in P4. P5 goes the way of Christoph Holstein, so he could not have asked for much more than that. Mark Gazner, P6, good race for him in the end. 7th for Enrique Marinon. P8 for Smeedel. P9 goes the way of Sinan Demirbas. The points for him today. Angelo Mikel gets a top 10 finish. Good result for Florian Haase as well. P3 for him. David Seed crosses the line. P11. P12, I believe, went the way of Ciro Zambra, so not bad from 19th on the grid. But this man, race winner. What a drive for Alejandro Sanchez. There is the Madrid lounge. Agustin Torlaci took the win yesterday. And today, it is Alejandro Sanchez, provisional race winner at the moment. Big round of applause there from our racing lounge in Madrid. Well, defending champion. Still yet without that podium. And Munich, still without that race win. As Smeedel comes flying into the pits. He's got to be disappointed. It's not gone the way he wanted in terms of his season so far then. Ciro Zambra was P12. And what a race that was. Alejandro Sanchez, you can't overtake here, 13 all the way up to first. That was a fantastic drive from Alejandro Sanchez. Race control, though, will now have to look over everything and make sure that the results are as standing. So that is your provisional result. So provisionally at the moment, Alejandro Sanchez, P1, Wojciech Polesny, P2, and Florian Haase, P3. All smiles and rounds of applause in our Munich lounge. There, in our Madrid lounge, there is Munich, where Smeedel's already out the cockpit. And what to be. There's Kemptol, there's Ciro Zambra, climbs out his cockpit as well. Not a bad race for him from P19, just difficult to overtake around here. And I'm sure Ciro will be back ready, fighting fit next time around. Obviously, his points got refreshed back to 0 today, as did Devin Iskro. And there you see Enrique Marinon just discussing with the orange cockpit of what must be Alejandro Sanchez there. Marcus Valverde in the green T-shirt. P2 for him yesterday. Good support from family and friends and colleagues of Racing Unleashed in the background as well in Madrid. So it's great to see there. On what was a fantastic race. Overtakes galore, especially that one of Ivan Kaufman down the start straight. Double overtake with his push to pass. Was absolutely fantastic to see Kaufman do that. And it was a brilliant, brilliant race. Nonetheless, so provisional podium at the moment. Alejandro Sanchez P1, Wojciech Polesny P2, Florian Haase P3. And we'll bring you full confirmation of the podium when we get it. So unfortunate for David Ladamada, had that moment through the Arabiatas into the gravel trap. He went, Devin Iskro as well, same kind of thing. In the dirty air maybe for Devin Iskro, as he went through the Arabiatas and straight into the gravel. But in Munich, drivers can now debrief and discuss with family, friends, colleagues and each other to maybe find out what happened. But in Madrid, it is all high fives with Alejandro Sanchez at the moment. He's actually just climbed out the cockpit there. That's to grab a bit of a drink, it looks like. So P1 provisionally, race control going through all the results at the moment to make sure everything is as it should be. But Alejandro Sanchez, that man with the red water bottle, is your current race winner provisionally at the moment. So a big well done to him. No podium today for GameTV. First time they've not been on the podium in the Racer League this season. Munich still without that elusive race win. It just cannot come for them at the moment. And the Inter-Lounge battle is absolutely fantastic to see. 2 third places and a race win provisionally for Alejandro Sanchez. This was the moment he crossed the line as race winner. Podium is now confirmed. We can tell you that Alejandro Sanchez is your race winner from Wojciech Plesny, 2nd place, and Florian Harser, P3. That is confirmed. This man, no longer 3rd place. He's a race winner this season. Barely any expression on his face. Maybe a puff of the cheeks as he come out. So your final classification of the podium. Alejandro Sanchez, race winner for race 3 this season. Wojciech Plesny in 2nd place. And then Florian Harser in P3. Congratulations to them, gentlemen. I'm joined once again by Fabio. Fabio, that was an absolute belter of a race.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed it, even though I had like double work to do.
Yeah.
You know, I was doing the cameras. Yeah, I mean, there was a big crash in the midfield, actually. I think Alejandro was the winner of that. He managed to go through, and suddenly he was like P4 or so. But flawless. He, not sure what he said in the interview with yourself, but he tried to be up there. Yep. This season he just constantly delivers. I mean,
really is.
Not really made any mistakes. Obviously, he was lucky there with the restart in the knockout, etc. But still, I mean, he was just on a flyer.
He was absolutely on another level, and that's possibly what got him up to P5 so quickly. But he did the hard work. We're seeing obviously live pictures in GameTV. Then some of our drivers. Not the day for GameTV, really. No driver finishing on the podium. But you have to say, push to pass we've seen today compared to the knockout qualifying session in the race really did bring some great overtakes. Kaufman, 2 guys in 1 straight.
Yeah, that's how you use it, actually. And that's what we said before. We said, okay, in the knockout, they don't use it. We don't have it there, but in the race, they will have it, and we will definitely see some overtake.
Well, P3, Florian Harser. Florian, that was a fantastic drive from yourself. Congratulations on P3.
Yeah, thank you very much. Was quite a lot of fun and hard fought at the end.
You was defending for a lot of that at the end of the race there. Nearly lost the podium, but you stayed strong and did well.
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect that because I wasn't aware of how powerful the push to pass was. When I was using it like last races, it was marginal, and today it was like, I have no idea what that was. And yeah, so I used it once at the start, and then it was just like waiting for the ones coming from behind because I knew like Sanchez would be faster, and I couldn't get Wojciech also so there was just a waiting game to see who is coming and then defending at the end.
A good podium for yourself though. Obviously we go to Imola. Can you do the same at Imola in 2 weeks' time?
I wish, but yeah, my starting procedure will be a lot worse than today, so it will be a different race, but also fun, I guess.
Well, congratulations on the P3. It is confirmed that you are 3rd place. We'll see you next time. Well done.
Thank you.
So clearly very happy with his P3, but not quite used to the changes of the push to pass.
Yeah, obviously, usually drivers train with the car that hasn't got push to pass. I mean, you have to actively approach the lounge employee to say you want to test the one with the push to pass. Maybe he didn't do that. He was a bit surprised, but let's see how this man feels about his race. Finally on the score with some good points, with some good prize money, actually.
Indeed. Wojciech, P2. Best you could have asked for today, really?
Yes, absolutely. I tried to defend it, but honestly, yeah, I tried it. I think twice in the turn 1, but yeah, Alejandro was so fast, so I'd rather give up the fight and don't risk the collision.
It was a good move from Alejandro Sanchez. You were side by side for 3 corners. Great respect from both of you. But P2, it's points on the board. It's prize money in your pocket. You've got to be happy.
To be honest, I'm not so happy because I'm not fit for 100%. So yeah, it's a good result, but it's a little bit hurts. It's not a win.
Well, it is the shame that you didn't win. Imola, though, next time around, can you get that win there?
We will see. It's a hard track to overtake as well, but yes, everything is possible that we see in the turn 1 this race. So yeah, we will see.
Well, congratulations on the confirmed P2 today. Well done.
Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.
Very, very happy man there then with his P2 as well. So a fantastic result in Munich, 2nd and 3rd. They just can't seem to get that race win at the minute, can they, the Munich Lounge?
Just wait for that. I mean, they will definitely get one win for sure. It just doesn't work out for Smeedle at the moment. I saw he ran out of push to pass very quickly. I don't know, maybe the button was stuck and he lost all of them in one go. Who knows? We don't know yet. But still, it just doesn't really wants to go his way. But I mean, the season is still long, as Yannick said before. Still 7 races to go. Smeedle, if he's just a constant score, if he gets the points on a regular basis, he's still up there, and he's a 3-time champion. So
exactly, one man whose way it is going this season is this man, Alejandro Sanchez, race winner. No 3rd place this time, Alejandro. It's the top step of the podium for you.
Yeah, I was quite surprised, to be honest, when I saw the standings after, I think it was the 2 first sectors and I was before. So yeah, I got very lucky with the incidents. I got hit on the side on turn 2, but didn't affect me at all, so it was fine. But yeah, very, very happy with the pace, with the management of the push to pass. I was like trying to be careful with them because I wanted this race win. I knew it was possible. So in the end, we got to Polesny with like 4 left or so we could like make an overtake on the 2nd try, which was great. So yeah, quite happy with the pace, quite happy with the practice, and quite happy with everything, to be honest.
It was a great overtake on Polesny as well, side by side for 3 corners. You got the move done. Really nice work.
Yeah, it was really clean as well, so quite nice to see. Such a clean battle with people. In general, it's always a pleasure.
We go to Imola next time around. We can look at your start at the moment we have on our screen as well. Just talk us through your race start, Alejandro.
I was just trying to not spin and not crash into anyone. I think I went onto the grass on the exit of turn 1. I followed Enrique, and then we went 3 wide into turn 2, and the car on the inside, I think, went a little bit deep. So he hit me on the side, and then I hit Enrique. So yeah, that was pretty much it. And then everyone else was spinning around, so I gained a lot of positions.
Yeah, we just seen you come
it's
through
a bit
turn
of a
1.
blur, to be honest, but
well avoided the car at the exit of turn 1. We're just seeing that. Yeah, contact at turn 2. Yeah, you've really managed to sort of couple of cars spinning there. Yeah, you've done well to avoid all of that, Alejandro. There, so that's really what set you up for this race win.
Yeah, basically it was the first sectors. It's what gave me the win, to be honest. So yeah, quite happy. I got, of course, quite lucky because it doesn't always go my way. You know, last year I had a couple of instances where it didn't go my way, and I think 2 years ago here, I got collected. Well, I think I crashed with another driver on turn 2, and I spun out and lost the race. So yeah, it's nice for a change.
Well, Alejandro, this is Fabio. Congrats from me as well. You got a lot of podiums already this season, 3 in a row now. Obviously now, today, the win. With podiums come a lot of prize money. What are you going to do with that money? Buy a new car or maybe new tires as last time round? What do you do with that?
I already bought new tires. I cannot say what I'm going to do with it because I don't want to... I don't know what's the word in English, but I don't want to say until I've got it.
Just talk us through your overtake once again with Wojciech Plesny. We've got it on the screen for the viewers to see. You got the run out the final corner on him, used a bit of push to pass as well. Just talk us through your process of getting to Plesny.
Basically, I knew that if I was 0.3 or so behind exiting the corner, I knew if I used the push to pass, even if he used it as well, the draft will pull me alongside him at least, and we could go side by side into T1. So yeah, we're just waiting to have a nice exit out of the last corner and be close and ready for making a move, which is what I did. And I knew the outside was very powerful around T1. He has a lot of grip in this particular track, and then it was just a matter of not crashing into him or, not making contact at all and keeping it clean. I think I tried as well, like 2 laps prior, and the push to pass. We both hit push to pass, but since I wasn't close enough, I couldn't even go side by side into T1. So yeah, it's just a matter of getting a nice exit and forcing a little bit of a mistake, which I think he did on the exit. He touched a little bit of the grass before the curve. So yeah, that was it.
Well, it was a fantastic move. It was great respect from both drivers and great racing to see as well. Alejandro, congratulations on the confirmed P1. Go and enjoy that one today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Alejandro Sanchez, they're clearly a very happy man. Fabio with his race win, and that's racing, that was a fantastic move. He set him up. He set Wojciech Plesny up absolutely beautifully and got the move done. And the respect from both of them.
Yeah, I was actually closing my eyes a bit there. I just didn't want a crash to happen, and it didn't. Fortunately, those guys are very experienced. They've raced along each other. I don't know, maybe from the start of 2020 or something. So they know each other. They know how they behave on track. They know they give each other space. So yeah, all in all, very good racing from the top guys. Either of them knew, okay, we can't have a crash because we're in such good position. A lot of prize money at stake, a lot of points at stake, and yeah. Awesome. Interesting
to note as well that Alejandro said there he knew through the speed of the car that if he was within 0.3 of a second of Wojciech when he was behind, leaving the final corner, push to pass and slipstream would give him that momentum into turn 1. That's exactly what he did. He set him up beautifully. Let's take a look at a couple of replays here then. This is Angelo Michel at the start of the race. So this possibly one of the incidents that Alejandro Sanchez missed.
I'm curious now what happens here exactly. So we're here with Angelo. Not sure who's the car in front. It's a GameTV car, so it's going to the inside. There's a little bump. Okay, that's a chain reaction then.
Yeah. These dominoes.
Yeah, and then we have another one in the front there. Yeah, GameTV car as well. And then, yeah, Angelo was just the wrong place, I guess.
Oh. Bit of a messy start to the race, which race controller obviously going to look at, but that really benefited Alejandro Sanchez. Like I say, 13th to I think 4th or 5th by the end of them first couple of corners.
But he was lucky as well there because sometimes there's so many things are happening right here at the start. Especially if there is contact and guys are spinning out. So you see Alejandro in the orange car there. He has some contact as well, but just sometimes. You can't do anything. You're just trying to avoid cars, but you can't really because on the left is one, on the right is one. It's maybe, Lady Luck was on his side and he got through there. And for the others, unfortunately, they didn't have it.
This is more of a closer view of Angelo Michel into turn 1. So the GameTV car in the middle, he gets past him nice and easy. Just taps his Munich friend.
I think there was Demirbas that he touched there.
Was that a bit more? He just seemed to carry a bit too much speed through the middle part of the corner compared to the car in front. Because that's really that tap on Demirbas, we think, is what sets the rest of this off.
Yeah, the thing is, he wasn't that quick actually. Yeah. So it was all under control. But I believe maybe Sinan Demirbas was braking a little bit because something was happening in the front. So that was basically that chain reaction that we saw a lot of times today in the knockout at the start. It's just sometimes it just can't move out of the way.
Can't move out of the way. We saw another incident. We caught the end of it that Smeedel was involved in. With, I believe, Asnar, maybe Sebastian Hirsch as well, that on the exit of turn 1. And you say Lady Luck on Alejandro Sanchez's side. Smeedel just isn't having any of that luck at the moment this season, is he?
No, not at the moment, but never count out Michel Smeedel. He's a 3-time champion. He knows how to drive. Maybe losing some points here in the championship, but that just gives him, better starting positions in the knockout.
Speaking of Smeedel, here we go then. So coming through the S's down towards the hairpin at the bottom of the circuit, final part of the lap. Good move up the inside. Bet the car on the left. Gap was there.
Who was that car actually?
Not too sure.
Car as well, I believe, the right one.
Yeah, it is GameTV. The gap is there, though. What do we think to that, though, Fabio? It's Devin Eastrom.
Yeah, let's wait and see.
Oh.
Yeah, it was... I don't want to be the judge here. I leave that to race control, but you know, they are looking at onboards, etc. They would see if maybe Devin turned in too early, or maybe you know, Michel was just a bit, let's say, you know, over aggressive.
Yeah.
But his front tires were actually on the same level as the rear tires of Iskra, so naturally Iskra should leave a gap, you know, a car's width, so that they can battle it out.
So are we saying that Smeedle was far enough alongside for Iskra to give him the space?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it's not the typical corner to overtake, you know. But if you, that's what I told you yesterday. It's hard to have, you know, that vision around you where the cars are, etc. And if it's that close, because that's probably a split second, you turn in, but you don't know that the car is actually already there.
Enrique Marinon and Angelo Michel then through the S's again, same part of the circuit, down towards the bottom hairpin. And just, yeah, I don't know if we can see that one back again. Looked like Marinon had just enough space on that outside line. And then was it just a case if they was too close turning into the corner? Let's take a look. So Marinon through the right, through the left. And as we slow it down, car's width left. Mikel's making the apex.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and there is also enough space.
So Marinon just not...
Just this little tap, you know, and then Michel goes around.
Just squeezing him too close, maybe, to the inside of the curb.
Yeah, it's close racing out there. It's just maybe, you know, sometimes, you know, that little touch can unsettle your car and then it goes. I mean, sometimes those little touches won't have an effect at all. And in this case, unfortunately, for Angelo, it had.
Yeah, we did manage to see some good overtakes, though, through push to pass. Here is Alvaro Aznar.
Yeah, I believe he spins on his own here.
This is through the Arabiatas then. Big moment, big twitch through the first Arabiata, slides across the second.
But nice catch. Oh. Okay, I was a bit early there. Nice catch, actually. But, you know, I think the car behind just didn't had a chance to.
Wrong place, wrong time. Aznar comes back onto the circuit and, you know, the car, what you're going to do when you're pretty much flat out. It's Sebastian Hirsch now. Similar situation, very bouncy and bumpy through the Arabiatas on the exit curb. Oh, there you go. It is Sebastian Hirsch who is the car, and you can't react in that moment.
No, not in Arabiata 2 actually, because you saw it. He saw him coming. Yeah. But the problem is your tires are so hot in that corner, the left front tires. So it's basically impossible to
the thing as well is if Hirsch goes to jink to avoid him, that could possibly lose the rear with, like saying, the hot tyres and everything, and he has a spin and collects cars behind him. Yeah, one of them things. We saw a few lose through the Arabiatas. We saw Ladamada have an instant. Iskra had a moment himself. Very bouncy, very bumpy. You saw the suspension working really well on the car. That just maybe as drivers got a little greedy on the inside curbs, possibly cost that rear end to come around.
It's really a combination because on that track the tires just heat up so quickly. It's a fast track. Yeah. There are so many fast corners, and that may be added to that difficulty in those corners. You know?
Indeed, we do. We now have the podium celebrations for you today, and we head to Munich for the first of 2 victory celebrations. That is Kemptor Lounge as they watch on the big screen there to celebrate everybody in the respective racing lounges. But we head back to Munich now, as it will be Florian Harser to take his P3. And here he comes onto that third step of the podium, and he'll receive his winner's medal, his third place medal. Wojciech Polesny as well, dusting off the first place step. Florian Harser, P3 for him today. Wojciech Polesny is going to be P3. Very tall man.
Yeah, nice little reference there to Senna, actually.
Yeah.
He always wears Senna socks or a T-shirt.
So Wojciech Polesny as well, getting his P2 medal or trophy. And they're on the second and third step of the podium. Congratulations to both drivers there in Munich.
Well done.
And we'll head over to Madrid very shortly for the man who today gets to claim the winner's trophy, not the third place trophy this time around for Alejandro Sanchez. Wojciech Polesny there.
He seems happy, even though he said he's not 100% happy. So good for him.
Yeah, very good for him. Into Madrid then, where we're going to celebrate Alejandro Sanchez. What a day for him. Here he comes on screen. He's been third place for 2 races this season, but it's going to be race win number 1 this year for Alejandro Sanchez. It's a second Racer League win for Madrid, and it's back-to-back Mugello race wins for Madrid this weekend.
Yeah, the Spaniards had it this time around, right? But I'm sure those guys here, they want to fight back in the next one in Imola and give him, a run for the money.
Yeah, indeed they will. So fantastic there for Alejandro Sanchez and for Madrid Racing Lounge. Well done as well to Wojciech Plezny and Florian Horser in Munich. Can Munich, though, get that all-important race win? Qualification opens 12th of June. So if you want to be involved in the Challenger League, make sure you head to one of our 5 racing lounges. Get involved, sign up, get some lap times in, see if you can take on Yannick Pletcher, who will be in qualifying as well for that one at Imola. That is between the 12th and 21st of June before we head to Imola in 2 weeks' time. We're back again very quick.
Yep, double headers basically in 2 weeks' time. So looking forward to that. Imola, always a nice track to be at. Have you been there?
No.
Or have you raced on it on the sim?
At home on the PlayStation, and never not in a race on Nation. Yeah, I like Imola. I don't. Yeah, I never seem to go well at that kind of track. I always seem to go well at tracks where, like Mugello, where you constantly have to work the wheel. I don't seem to go so well at it.
Maybe a bit too technical for you think?
Probably.
Yeah?
Lack of talent.
Lack of talent.
Lack of talent. Let's put it that.
It's all about training.
But that is all we have time for today. Thank you very much. We'll be in training for Imola. We'll see what we can come up with in 2 weeks' time. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll take care. Goodbye. The Rock has tamed the bull.
This is Racing Unleashed.